Hi guys, welcome back to the Kit and Krysta podcast, episode 23.
Check the sheet for the number, yes.
I'm very carefully,
Boom.
yes. Today, we're going to be talking a little bit about Nintendo's non-direct but slow drip of game announcements on Twitter instead.
Two big announcements on Twitter last week.
Yeah.
That's clearly the way things are going.
That's right,
Yeah.
that's right.
Also, we're going to be looking at the release dates for Nintendo. With this Bayonetta announcement, I think people might think, well, is this everything that we're getting for the year? We're going to take a closer look at that.
Yeah, like the calendar.
Yes.
The calendar is very important. As always, everything on this channel is made possible by our wonderful Patreon subscribers. So thank you so much if you are already subscribed to the Kit and Krysta Patreon. If you're not already, it's patreon.com/KitandKrysta. Our members get a lot of really cool perks, including access to our members-only Discord. We have monthly meetups with our One-Up Club members, bonus weekly Q&As, and much, much more. So consider joining us, won't you?
This is the weekend for our big One-Up Club meetup, by the way.
That's right.
Yeah, it's happening.
Yeah, every month.
Good times.
It's fun. It's very
Yeah.
fun.
Big news at the
yeah.
top, too.
What's the big news at the
We're
top?
running the air conditioning today. And
You're
I'm
also in
wearing
shorts.
So it's warm here. It's summertime.
It is warm.
It's the middle of summer.
Yeah.
We're so drilled working at Nintendo. It's like you must have no noise in this room where you are recording.
Yes. The room tone.
The room tone. So it's like we can't have air conditioning. We can't have a fan. We can't have anything. We just have to close the door in this small room
through it.
and suffer.
And then last time we almost didn't make it.
I really did suffer.
You had a really bad time.
Well, we were both sweating, first of all.
I looked.
That was
It was.
bad.
There was a lot of color correction, guys, done to the video to cover up the sweat. The sweat. It was
Oh my
disgusting. So we shan't be doing that anymore.
No.
So if you hear some sort of
A
noise,
little
in the
bit of noise in the background.
sorry, but that is the air
Yeah.
conditioner is like 89 degrees here, and we are prioritizing our health and well-being.
Yeah. Nintendo's putting out notices saying don't play your Switch in weather over 80 degrees. That's definitely what was
That's
happening
what's
last
happening
weekend.
here, yes.
There's a crazy heat wave going through Europe right now.
It's the hottest day in London.
Our thoughts are with our viewers and listeners
Yes.
in England.
We have a
suffering
few.
through this as well.
Yeah,
My goodness.
My gosh. Hopefully you guys are trying to stay cool and staying healthy.
I've been in Europe in
crazy.
one of those crazy heat waves.
pretty
They're
bad.
not well equipped
No.
for it.
No, not at all. The thing too is, at least in California, we have dry heat.
Oh, yes.
So it's a little, I feel like it's a little bit bearable. I used to go home to China in the summers and it was like 100 degrees
Not a
and
dry heat.
100 degrees
Yeah.
percent humidity,
Yeah.
which is, I know a lot of people in other parts of the U.S. have that kind of heat, and I don't do well in that. It's like you step out the door and you're just
kinda
sticky
gross.
all over.
Yeah.
Oh man.
No.
Yeah.
Hopefully today, though, we're going to make it.
I think we're
gonna
gonna
make
okay.
it
I feel
today.
pretty good today.
Yeah.
I feel very fresh.
Well, we just started, literally.
I feel very fresh.
Literally just started.
I'm not sweating yet. I'm not sweating through my nose yet.
I might make you sweat with some of this questioning I have for you later on.
Why?
I don't know. You're going to find
It's not
out.
questions for me. It's questions for Nintendo. I'm sitting pretty.
Interrogated under these hot lights. Tell me
there-
about
there
this.
are some lights on
Where
here,
were
too.
you?
On
the
the
day
night
of?
of
On the day of, yes.
January 19th.
You better have your stories straight.
I was here with you recording a podcast. Where were you?
Rats. And we recorded it. Okay.
Yeah. So we have some interesting videos.
Oh.
A little surprise video that we
Oh, yeah.
put up on Sunday.
We did do one.
We are testing out, and so let us know. Like, honestly, let us know if you like this. We're just doing some more, like, Let's Plays
Yeah.
kind of things. And we're not really, they're not edited. They're just, like, straight up playthroughs. And
All the mistakes are there.
all the
Believe me.
embarrassing mistakes and moments are there, especially in the game that we played on Sunday together, which was Saturday together, which was Escape Academy.
Yes. Which I always think of as Puzzle Academy for some reason. Why do
Well,
I?
I mean,
Why?
I don't know.
I almost said that like multiple
Is it
times
because
when we were
there's
doing
that
that.
other game,
Puzzle- I
Puzzle
don't-
Fighters,
I don't know. I mean,
with the egg,
you're
with the
doing
head, with
puzzles,
the egg and
but
the
you're
head.
also escaping. Whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
But we started playing Escape Academy, which is one of our standout games from Summer Game Fest.
Yeah.
And yeah, we clearly are not very smart because we bumbled through the first couple of puzzles, couple of escape rooms.
Yeah.
And I'm concerned because the one that we did that we kind of had trouble with and we could not do in the time allotted to us was only 2 out of 5 keys of difficulty.
Yeah.
What is a 5-key puzzle then?
Well, we're going to talk about that in the games we've been playing a little bit later on. But yeah, I'm with you on that.
That's
But
tough.
that was a good time.
It was really fun, and that video is live. So if you want to see more playthroughs, not only of Escape Academy, obviously, like other games you want us to play,
Yeah.
like we're all for it. So
Right.
let us know. We also did kind of a zany video for the Kit and Krysta show.
It's out now.
It's out now. We auditioned to become Xenoblade voice actors. What does that mean?
I haven't got my call back yet. I'm getting worried.
Yeah, what's going on, Nintendo? Call us. What does that mean? You should watch the video to find out. I don't really want to say.
What does that mean?
I don't really want to say. What does that mean in the big grand scheme of things? No, I don't want to say like too much because I don't want to spoil the surprise and the craziness of this video because it's just weird and fun. Yeah, so go watch it and let us know what you think about our Xenoblade voice acting, and let us know if there's other games that could work.
I've seen some good suggestions.
There's some good.
I think
Fire
it's possible.
Emblem might be a good one.
Really ham it up in Xenoblade, though.
You can really, but Fire Emblem has some emotional dialogue.
That's true.
Could be a different type of voice acting performance.
Right.
You know?
Right. Okay. I guess we might need to build out our portfolio to get.
Oh, our portfolio.
Yeah, to get that tap on the shoulder from Nate Bildorf.
How do you?
Nasty Nate, as he likes to be called.
The nastiest of names.
Yes.
You have to. What is it? You're real. Your actor is real.
That's what
right?
I'm saying.
Is that what you're saying? Okay, we should do that. Yes, we should definitely do that. So that's something to watch and laugh at and make fun of us about. So do that. And on an upcoming episode of the Kit and Krysta show, we are going to be playing a game that might be surprising to you guys that we're going to be playing for the first time.
Yeah.
I'm actually a little bit ashamed to admit this, but I have a good excuse. Because.
Why do you have to be ashamed?
Pointing at you. Where's your excuse?
I certainly haven't shamed you.
I just feel like this is one of those like glaring. As a fan of this franchise, as a fan of one of the games in this franchise,
I'm not sure if you actually are the fan of the franchise.
This is a glaring miss for me. But you guys know that I did not own a Nintendo 64 growing up, so I didn't play Paper Mario.
Yeah.
You also didn't play Paper Mario, even though you did.
So I actually owned it. Yeah, I have the copy with us with me today.
I'm gonna shame you. What happened?
So I bought. So it has the sticker on it, used from Blockbuster. I paid $14.99 for this game.
That's actually kind of expensive back in the day.
No, and it's in the box. If only I could get the sticker off the box, it'd be a nice little collectible.
Try to goog on it.
But I think I do remember I played it for maybe like 30 minutes and I got distracted with something else. So I have
You're not the biggest Paper
I have
Mario
nary a memory of it. So yeah, we're gonna be playing that game basically for me for the first time, literally for you for the first time.
Me for the first time.
Yeah.
I hope that I don't get. Well, it could go either way. It could either go the 1,000-year-old doorway, or it could go the sticker star way.
Yeah.
So these are the two extremes of where I might fall on the spectrum.
Very interesting path for this series.
It's such a weird. It's a weird path.
Kind of is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, a little weird, like a little meandery, but we'll see.
Yeah.
We have no, obviously, recollection. I haven't even really seen a lot of other people play this game, so.
Yeah. But it's out on NSO now.
Yeah. So you can play it.
Do you really feel shame about this? Do you honestly? Why?
Because I self-proclaim myself as this Paper Mario aficionado, and I talk a lot of smack about the games that I don't like.
We played those.
Out of the ones I do like, so I feel a little bit ashamed that I don't know the origins of this franchise.
Oh.
So I think that's where I'm like, I should do this, because if I'm gonna be this high horse person about this franchise, I should know where it came from.
Okay.
That's my
fair enough.
That's my personal assessment about myself.
Normally, I don't think people should feel shame for not having played a game, but in your case, you should. You should feel bad about yourself.
You should feel bad. You own it, and you still didn't play it.
You're a bad person, and you did a terrible thing.
Oh no!
Shame.
The bell. On the stairs.
Ring that shame bell.
Yes. Well, in this week's...
You're holding this paper very close to your face.
I was covering my shame.
What is happening? A single tear rolls down and evaporates into the heat.
Shall we move on to story time?
Sure.
Okay. Again, we are in the dog days of summer. Are we in the dog days of summer?
Why is it called that? We definitely are.
Doldrums?
Why is it called dog days, though?
Is it we get lazy?
You act like a dog. You just kind of roll into a ball and lay there.
Lay there,
maybe.
my dog is like that in the summer.
Yeah, it gets hot.
He's like a husky mix, so he gets real hot. Chowder. He would just lay on the hardwood floor
Yeah.
and just doesn't move for
I
like
believe it.
many hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe that's what it is. Or doldrums. What does doldrums mean? That means you're
There's
bored.
some sort of dullness.
Yeah, dullness. I don't think this was dull, but our
No.
story time has to do with a big summer.
It's happening this week.
Exactly, an
Yeah.
annual summer event that for
Yeah.
us really marked like
middle,
this
the
is
peak summer.
the peak of summer,
Right.
which is San Diego Comic-Con.
Absolutely.
Obviously, we have not gone to Comic-Con in many years because of the pandemic and other things. It's also a show that's notoriously difficult to sort of get to if you are not an
Yeah.
exhibitor. Like, I think we can try to go again maybe next year.
Maybe next year, yeah.
Yeah, but it is like a little bit more trickier than, say, going to PAX or going to something else.
Yeah.
But we were always very lucky. We were able to do a lot of really fun Comic-Con things with Nintendo. So we have a handful of these fun little stories to tell you guys today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Comic-Con was my favorite event. We've talked about this. I
Yeah.
don't feel too bad that we're not going this year. Seeing those pictures from Anime Expo a couple weeks ago
Made me very
kind
nervous.
of made me just squirm a
a
little
little
bit. It's
cringe,
I
yeah.
don't know if I'm ready for that.
Yeah. I definitely am not ready
Yeah.
for that. I think Summer Game Fest was a perfect, like, toe
Yeah.
dip into...
See you at PAX, though.
Oh, PAX will be all right, I think.
All right,
The,
all right.
the convention center is a lot larger. Well,
It's kind of spread out.
is it?
The masses are spread out. Anyhow,
Okay. Anyways, but Comic-Con.
yes.
Nintendo started going to Comic-Con, like, pretty early on, even though we didn't have, like, sort of an established
no.
routine or presence.
Right.
Like, when we first started going to Comic-Con, it was like this little booth jammed into the corner of the show, Comic-Con main show
Mm-hmm.
floor, which is always fun to walk around. And you and I would just be, like, crammed into the corner, and we would do, like, media interviews.
I was like, what were we even doing there?
Yeah, I was standing when someone handed us this slime.
Yeah, I do remember there was
I
Dragon
literally was
Quest.
standing there, and someone was like, "This is for you," and
Right.
handed me this beautiful
Sure.
slime speaker.
Why
So
not?
that's what happened at
Why
Comic-Con. Yeah, it was a very like sort of a afterthought, I would say, of like a show.
Yeah.
But then we started to like get our act together.
Right.
And then
One of the executives was
Yeah.
a big proponent of the show, so we
Yeah.
just blew out what we were doing.
yeah, and it was cool.
The people who run Comic-Con really run it with an iron fist. So
They
we
do,
could never
yeah.
get more space on the main show floor.
Right. That's like
But-
basically like you inherited that spot from like your father's father's
Right.
father, and if you didn't have it, then you didn't have
Yeah,
it.
but we ended up getting this great space at a nearby hotel,
It's
which,
connected to the show.
right, which became this
Yeah.
big lounge. And then this thing that we want to talk about, we did this space for celebrities on a boat.
Yeah, we called it the celebrity yacht.
Right.
So if you guys know the area where San Diego Comic Con takes place is right on the harbor, and the convention center is kind of sits on a main street, but right behind it, there's literally like a harbor
Right.
with like boats and docks.
Fancy boats.
Really fancy
Yeah.
boats, like not just like some dinghy.
Yeah.
It was like literally like a luxury yacht, and there were a lot of sort of big celebrity magazines like Variety magazine
Yeah.
or TV. I think TV
Yeah.
Guide.
Who knows how that started? But yeah, it was like Celebrity Row,
Yeah.
where they would go from boat to boat.
And they would do all their like
Yeah,
appointments.
and we
stuff
would
like
pay money to like TV Guide or whatever to be
Yeah.
a part of this boat, and they were like, "We will guarantee this many celebrities will come through and see
yeah.
your thing, and we'll take pictures and we'll share it."
Yeah,
so
and it was this a huge spectacle.
It cost a lot of money,
It costed
too.
a lot of money,
Yeah.
first of all, like a lot.
A lot, yes.
And then there was always just crowds and crowds of people outside the yachts, like
I want to catch a
trying to
glimpse.
catch a glimpse.
Yeah.
And you can always tell when someone's rolling up because they roll deep with their like
Right.
black SUVs and their Secret
Yeah.
Service people.
I need to see the cast of Big Bang Theory. I need to see that.
That was always like a
They
thing.
were always
They're
there.
always there.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because you guys know at Comic-Con, like all these celebrities had all these panels there.
Right.
So they would just like they would kind of do their panels, and then
Mm-hmm.
instead of doing an interview somewhere, they would do the interviews on these yachts.
Yeah, yeah.
Which was something. Like I mean, it's like one of those like celebrity things.
The whole celebrity, complex around how this all works
Yeah.
is very like counterintuitive
It's
to
super-
a regular person.
Yeah, and I never was like that person that's
Yeah.
like, let me take a sneak selfie of myself with like a
Right.
celebrity behind me,
Right.
and I always kind of like I got weirded out by that.
Yeah.
But we always ended up sort of like working that experience in one way or another.
I never did.
I did. Whether you were there.
You were there to catch a glimpse.
I wasn't there to catch a glimpse. I was working.
Okay.
I was a working girl.
All right. Yeah, I didn't really like the scene over there.
Yeah.
So I would go like once every year to just like look at it.
Just to see what it looked like.
I mean, it was really nice. Like
cool,
this luxury yacht. We got these great games, and they would always have these great sponsorships for like food or drinks or whatever.
Yeah,
and be like, this is nice.
Always like really cool giveaways too.
Yeah.
Like the gift bags are always like beautiful and
right.
of course very high end.
Right. But when a celebrity walked in, you could feel everybody just seize
up.
up.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god.
There's like some whispering, like, oh my god, did you see what that is?
So-and-so's coming. So-and-so's coming. Oh my gosh, Brad Pitt. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I would say, so we would kind of take turns staffing it.
Yeah.
Like we would be on a schedule. Like, okay, I would be here from certain time, and whoever celebrity was coming through, you would help them with the game, or you'd give them their gift bag. Like it wasn't like a hard job.
So who were the top celebrities that you saw?
So my favorite experience, of course, there's a photo of me that I can pull up that's like kind of made the rounds.
A photo of you?
A photo of me in the background.
A photo that you're in.
I'm in the background.
Let's say what it is.
But I was there. I was the person that was playing with said person.
Okay.
But my favorite celebrity sighting was Peter Dinklage.
Oh boy.
Who, of course, was famously Tyrion Lannister on Game of Thrones. That was like the height of Game of Thrones.
Now, was it the whole Game of Thrones cast, or was it just him who came?
I did also see Kit Harington, other Kit.
Oh, other Kit.
Other Kit. And,
I have a blood feud with the other Kit. There can only be one.
The two women that played Arya and Sansa.
All right.
Which they're so cute together because the I can't remember their names right now.
Yeah.
But one is my height, and then one is like super. But they're like, you can tell they're just best friends. Like even they're not on set together. They were just always hanging out together. It was really cute. So we were playing. I remember it was New Super Mario Brothers U the game.
Oh boy!
And they're playing a little 2-player Mario and Luigi. And I was playing with him, and he was. Let's just say, for the sake of this family-friendly show, he was extremely happy. He had been partaking in
something
libations,
adult beverages, perhaps
some beverages, and was just in a great mood. And he was cracking jokes, and we were playing this game together. He clearly he was just messing around and stuff like that. But it was fun because he definitely was just like in a great mood and having a great time. And that's the thing about being with Nintendo is that, like, if anything, at least your product isn't boring for these.
Yeah, at least you're doing something fun.
Yeah, you play a Mario game for a couple of minutes. It's not the end of the world, And it was really fun. And then there was this great photo that the photographer there captured where he's holding up the
very intense photo.
Yeah, the Wii remote with this great look on his face, and and then of course we gave him his gift bag, and then he was on his way.
Right.
But he was like, "Where's my stuff? Where's my? Do I get to keep this?" Like he was so excited.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was fun.
Yeah.
So that was my favorite.
There were some people of the Nintendo contingent that went. That really just hung out on that boat.
Yes.
Not really to do anything, but to just people watch.
Just to celebrity.
And it's like, sir or ma'am, why are you even here? Like,
where's that lady that
what is the purpose you are serving?
It's like you want to just see that hottie that you think is hot. Don't lie.
The hottie that you think is hot.
You know that's what you want. You know who you are out there. I know you. But yeah, that was exactly what they were doing all day long, and I was like, "What is? Don't you have any real work to do, or are you just gonna stand here and like?"
Meanwhile, I'm somewhere else, literally toiling away. Not really.
No, you're like at the pool.
I do remember I did get sent to do IGN and GameSpot. They would do live shows like they would at E3, but we had kind of a skeleton crew that went to Comic-Con. So sometimes it was like, "Hey, Kit, you're gonna do the demo."
Yeah.
But a lot of times it was for games I had
never played,
very little knowledge of.
Yeah, and also there were a lot of games that are like pre-release at that point too.
Yeah, and it's like, again, we know like the games are kept under lock and key in the treehouse, which we were not part of.
Right.
And it was like, I couldn't really practice it in advance. So I was like, all right, I guess I'm just going to wing this live streamed demo. This could go really bad.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know why I agreed to do these.
And they were always at like some like weird hotel somewhere.
Right.
Too, where you have to like find where they were. So you would have to like wander the streets of San Diego.
I remember I did one specific, what was the game? Dragon Quest Monsters Joker was one that I did knowing basically nothing about the game.
You're like, press A.
And it just kind of winged it. So maybe,
Did you do okay?
maybe I think so. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe people can dig this up and rate my demo.
That's pretty. Like, I don't think I would be able to do that.
Just keep it really vague enough to. It's like fortune telling. You just keep it vague.
Oh yeah, this game is about monsters and
fortune telling or Nintendo Switch Pro predictions. Just keep it vague, and people are like, that sounds
true.
right. Yeah, that's gonna happen.
That's definitely gonna happen. You're right. I already said that.
This is a Dragon Quest game about monsters, which might include a Joker.
There's probably a slime there too.
See? Yeah.
See?
You nailed this demo.
Anyone can do it.
Yeah.
When does this game launch? Holiday?
I don't know. Soon. Eventually. One day. I don't know.
Is it going to be on Switch? Probably.
Yeah. That was actually on a
DS.
DS.
That was back in the day.
Dragon
Quest Monsters
don't make a huge
coming to Switch.
Oh my gosh.
Bro.
Announcement. Breaking news. Get the news machine going. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny. Yeah, that was another big part of Comic-Con was those live shows with media. They always had their little they're broadcasting out of some hotel room somewhere. It was always mysterious.
Yeah. Something else fun that we did was the Hall H experience. That's always where like the big movie panels would be. And like, oh, Marvel's got the cast of Avengers or whatever, and we could never go to that. It was crazy. Like people would like literally.
No, you would be in line for days.
Live on the streets to get in line for that.
Sometimes we would like on the first day of Comic-Con, we would like walk to dinner down that way.
Yeah.
And people would be like set up. They're like sleeping there.
I would not want to do that.
That sounds terrible.
In any scenario for anybody
or
anything.
Sounds stinky.
Oh my gosh.
So stinky.
But we did get in a few times.
I know.
One
it's so
was
cool.
super exciting was the year Pokemon Go had come out. And right, this is like, late July. The peak of the mania of Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
We hear like late from some people from Pokemon. They're like, oh, we're doing this panel that we put together at the last second. We got the CEO of Niantic's going to be doing this talk. We can sneak you in if you want to go. I was like, yeah, I want to go to this.
Yep.
And there was such a crazy buzz around this panel because people were just making things up. They're like, we're going to get these crazy legendaries that are not out yet only for the people that are in Hall H. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
It was nuts. It was like, what is this thing? It was just this rumor that just got out of control.
Yeah.
And obviously that didn't happen.
No.
But they
did announce some special stuff though.
But there was like such a buzz in that room, like
but
for that
the
panel.
moment you walk into that room, you feel it.
Right.
Like it's like such like this electric excitement, and I remember feeling it again when we went to the Hall H panel for Marvel the next time, because it was just like everybody has been waiting for so long. They're just so pent up with all their excitement and anticipation.
Yeah.
It is actually kind of cool though. Like I get it. I wouldn't wait for it, but I mean, invite me Hall H anytime. I'm there. I'll see it.
The Kit and Krista panel at Hall H.
Oh God.
See you in 2023.
No. It's too many
no.
There's too many people.
You won't even know.
I don't want to. Don't make me. But yeah, exactly. Like there was always some sort of crazy rumor or like this like energy, at those things.
We should say we went to it was Marvel Games panel because we had Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, and it was all the upcoming Marvel games. And we had been so worried we'd heard like, oh, Square Enix has the Avengers license. We've got these 2 games that are coming out around the same time. We're really worried. And that was like the big debut of the Avengers game footage. And we came out of that thing like, well, that didn't look great.
That didn't look great.
Well, I guess we're feeling okay about Marvel Ultimate Alliance.
Exactly. But it was still really fun to go see that sort of like a bigger sort of almost like a MCU kind of experience, Yeah, those things are crazy. Like if anyone else has stood in line and gotten into Hall H, I'd love to hear about your experience. Like the Game of Thrones panels back in the day, that was like the talk of the town for days, months leading up to Comic-Con Hall H panel. So I never went to one of those, but I always heard rumors that they were like incredible, and you get to hear all sorts of secret things.
Yeah,
so, there you go. Yeah, but yes, Comic-Con, always a fun time. I'm curious to see like what they have this year. It's like kind of still getting back to normal, I guess. But yeah, maybe one day we'll get to go back.
I'd love to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Shall we move on to our?
We should.
Next thing.
Well, let's please.
All right. Well, before we get to our Never Minute segment, we're excited that this episode of the Kit and Krysta podcast is sponsored by Slick Deals.
Nice.
Thank you, Slick Deals, for supporting us. But this is really cool. This is basically a browser extension or an app
Yep.
that you can get. We'll put the link right in the description, so if you click on that link, you can get the browser extension. It takes just a few seconds, and it's going to help you with all of your online shopping. And we did a little online shopping.
Let's be honest. The economy is in the turlet.
Oh my gosh! This is where we're going with
We need to save some money. I had a great shopping experience with this.
Yeah, what did you buy?
So we have been wanting to get a Elgato Stream Deck.
Yes.
Because we've been dabbling with streaming. We're going to want to do a little bit more with that. And it's been something I've been wanting to buy, but never, really completely went through with it. So I was like, well, let's see what the Slick Deals experience is like.
Yeah.
So I used both the extension and the app.
Nice.
At first, I was like, okay, it looks like there's a lot of potential deals on eBay. So I went to eBay first. And the extension has this cool thing where it's like, here's all the coupons. It finds
it finds all of them.
It just finds all the active coupons that are out there. Now, not every coupon works for every single thing, but I put this Stream Deck,
Whoa,
not the Steam Deck, into my cart, and there was this cool thing. It was like, we are checking all of the coupons right now.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, none of those were applicable to that item.
Okay.
So I was like, all right, well, maybe I'm going to keep looking. And then I found another deal very quickly. I switched over to the app. Found a great deal.
Okay.
$25 off of an item that is normally
really nice.
$150. I got it for $125.
Great.
Bought it coming tomorrow.
Wow.
Yes,
this was
last night.
Yeah, the coupon stuff is really cool because it is a community source. There's like 12 million people in the community that's helping you find these deals.
Yeah, there are people.
Really
people
cool.
are like leaving comments on the deals, or like, oh, this seems like a good deal, or I think a better deal's coming. So it's nice to feel that there's kind of a community around it.
Exactly, like real people. They're not just you don't like the AI, see? So you do like the real community around it. Yes.
Yes.
You can also set up some deal alerts too on the app. So if you are like looking at an item that's maybe a little bit pricier, you want to see when it comes down in price, you can set that alert, and it's very easy for you to get notified when that item is on sale. We will put the links for both the app and the browser extension right down there in the description box.
Please use those.
So click on that, use that, and start saving some money, because who doesn't like that, Yeah. All right, moving on.
Onward.
To our Never a Minute segment.
Oh, boy.
We are in our dog days of summer, also in our backlog days of summer.
This is a very relatable thing for me to talk about right now. We're talking about backlogs.
Exactly.
I'm getting close to a real backlog, like Sophie's Choice.
Yeah.
So I'm playing Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes right now.
Okay.
Loving it. But I'm nowhere near done with it.
No.
And I got some big games coming out.
Yeah.
I got Live Alive coming out end of this week.
And you love the demo for that.
I love
that. So now you're like kind of like in it.
I'm definitely going to play that. But then a week later, Xenoblade Chronicles 3 comes out. So I'm like, what am I going to do?
What are you going to do?
Some 2 out of these 3 are getting backlogged.
Yeah.
And I'm not happy about it, but what can I do? Or you could just
beat it right now. Just kidding.
What?
It's like what I did with Horizon, where you just don't sleep.
It's going to sputter.
You don't do anything. You sit in the dark room and you play video games.
Horizon came out in February, and it's July now. But yes, we are doing a little thing here where it's like in a world where new video games stopped coming out. What are the 5 games in your backlog that you would play
right now
in that order?
Post haste.
Yes. Do you have a list?
I do have a list.
I have a list too.
I'm gonna pull up my list.
I even have some runners up because this list was just
getting long. I have a pretty long list.
Big.
Actually. Yeah.
I'll go first.
Okay.
I've talked about this game. This is the number 1 game. This is the game I would play first. Interestingly, pretty much everything on this list is an RPG.
Because it's very long.
These games are so big.
They're long.
We need shorter RPGs.
Because the thing is, like with RPGs, you don't want to dedicate. You don't want to. It's not hard to dabble, right? Like you don't want to dive in with knowing that you can't finish or
for
can't
a game
get
that's like
far enough.
As long, like a 40 to 50, 60 hour game, that takes me about a month to get through.
Yeah.
It's a big commitment.
That's a lot
of time, but whatever.
Yeah, because you play like a couple hours a day.
Yeah.
That's it. Anyways.
So the first one is Triangle Strategy, which is
that's on my list.
I need to play that this year.
Yes.
I feel like I need to play it for Game of the Year. A lot of people gave me some compelling reasons to power through the initial blandness of it. So that's at the top of my list. It's a very long game, but I'm excited to eventually get to it because people seem so hyped about it.
Again, this is one of those games on paper that I would love.
Right.
Like it's one of those games that I've played similar games before and I've always enjoyed it despite of the length. So, Yeah, I'm just waiting for the right time when I have that block of time to be able to jump into a game like that. But it's on my list for sure.
What number was that on your list?
That was number 1 on my list, actually.
Oh, so we both had the same number 1.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I know, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Number 2. Now this is an interesting. This game is in my backlog, and yet I don't even own it.
What?
That is like the deepest potential backlog where it's like, I would love to play this game. I would love to own this game. But it's such a
Is it hard to get?
handful. No.
Oh.
It's such a handful that I haven't even bought it. I will be buying it soon, though.
What
Persona 5.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah, that's on my list, but
on
not
Switch.
number 2.
That will help. That will help me just
Power through.
grind away at some of these hours.
Because I think that there's a lot of like dialogue and things
Right.
like that, which is nicer to play on Switch in handheld mode. So that might be able to solve
Right,
that problem.
right.
So that's on my list, but it's not number 2. I think it's
Okay.
number 4 on my list.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I say, wow, this is so deep in my backlog, I don't even own it.
Yeah. I don't know. Own
There's got to be there's probably like a 40-letter German word for that.
Schadenfreude? That's
That's
a different
not
word.
it. Yeah. Number 3. This is an interesting one. This is actually a game I've played before that I really want to replay.
Oh.
Another RPG. And this game is actually not as long as I thought it was. Chrono Trigger.
Oh, this is a good game.
It's a great game, yeah. I played, when that first came out on SNES, I played it several times.
Yeah.
But at this point, it has been at least 10, 15 years.
DS? How do you play this?
Yeah,
game?
I would play it on the DS.
Yeah.
That version's great. I have that version. You have that version too.
You gave it to me.
Yes.
That version.
I would love to do that, but sometimes it's just so hard to go back when there's all these new games that you feel like you want to
Especially if you played it already.
play and be a part of the join the conversation,
conversation.
the discourse,
Yes.
the zeitgeist, all these things.
The
I have to
Hall
be.
H buzz.
I have to be a part of it. I have to.
You have to tweet, and that's it.
I have to be relevant. Oh my gosh.
Okay, my number 2 is The Witcher.
Which one? 1, 2, or 3? All of them?
I've not played any of them,
no.
so isn't there one that's
Yeah.
like the ultimate? Like I thought I saw like The Witcher.
This is a great. I'm glad this is on your list. This is a great one for you.
I know it is.
I
Again,
played this.
I know
on
you
Switch
loved it
a couple years ago.
I think I should play it.
The Switch version of this game, I mean, they definitely made some concessions,
Yeah.
but it's a great version of that game.
See, that's the thing. Like it's very accessible.
And I'm
now.
sure you'd like it.
I know I would too.
Yeah.
And I love like the universe of The Witcher
Yeah.
already. Like
Yeah.
I like the TV show. I like the lore.
Yeah.
Like all of that is, again, stuff that I already enjoy.
Yeah.
But it does feel like another game that's a little bit longer that I just need to dedicate some time to.
It is definitely.
I do. I think I actually own it on Switch.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I just
Oh,
never
wow.
played it. So
It is indeed long.
okay.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, that's why it's on the list.
But it's very engrossing.
Okay. All right.
All right. Number 4 for me, another Square Enix role-playing game. Now, you talked about having shame for not having played Paper Mario.
Yeah, but
People might say I should experience shame for this, but I won't.
you will.
I refuse.
You should be very
No.
ashamed. You're a bad person.
Final Fantasy, guess the number.
It's got to be after 7.
Can you guess the number? 10.
10. I was going to say, I know you played all the ones up to.
I played 7, 8, and 9. 10 is an interesting one in that some of my friends were playing that at the time it came out, and I kind of watched them here or there playing through it. So I kind of felt like I'm getting that experience by watching them. But in hindsight, I'm like, I don't really...
No, you actually don't know.
I don't think I took in more than like a couple hours of that game, and I never really played it myself. And now that seems to be a game that people have a great deal of affection for in hindsight.
The nostalgia,
That I feel,
though.
and I didn't love the PS1 Final Fantasies. This one feels like it's a step
Above
in a
that,
different
yeah.
direction that I might enjoy more.
I wonder if it's one of those things where if you didn't play it when it launched, would you? It's like the Klonoa effect. It's like, would you love it as much as those people that have the affection for it or
Right.
not? But I don't know. You should play it and find out.
Well, it's interesting because like I feel like I know like a lot of those characters really well, and
That's true.
and they've endured really well.
Yeah,
maybe
that's true. The
maybe I should
characters.
just skip Final Fantasy X and play Final Fantasy X-2, where they become pop stars.
Of course.
Maybe I should just skip to that.
Skip to
yeah.
that. Always.
What is the percentage of people who never played 10 and played 10-2? Only.
Always play when they're pop stars.
I should just do that as a conversation piece.
Okay, you're getting mad at me that this is my backlog.
What number is this for you now?
This is number 3 now.
Okay. Again, Why would I be mad? Again,
this is also
you have
a game
feelings
that's actually very short.
because of things that I never did to you or never said about you.
Feelings?
Yes.
What kind of feelings?
Anger, frustration. I didn't feel that. So I don't know why you're saying this. What's the game?
I'm confused. Deltarune.
Come on! No.
Just flip this table.
Now, Deltarune.
It's short.
That's what I was going to say. It's very different. There's 2 chapters of Deltarune out.
I know.
Super short. It's a couple hours each.
Why am I not playing this game? Tell me.
I thought you'd played that.
No.
Oh, you should do that.
I didn't play the second chapter.
You did?
No, I did not.
You did not. Did you play the first chapter?
I think so, yes.
So Deltarune Chapter 2.
Wait, did I play the first chapter?
Oh, no.
I don't remember.
You maybe didn't then.
I played the whatever it's called, the first one.
I think maybe we did a video where we played the beginning and maybe you dropped off after
I think that's what it
But I
was.
played...
You finished it.
I
You
loved
liked
both
it.
of those, yeah. And I thought those games were a good step forward after Undertale.
Undertale, that's the one that I played.
We played that.
Yeah.
Right.
We both played that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then it is Deltarune that I didn't play.
I think you should play that.
Okay.
I'm not angry. I'm not angry.
You
about it
are.
by any means. Look at my face. Do I look angry?
Yes.
No.
You look mad.
Fake mad?
You're mad.
Oh.
Anyways, yes,
All right.
Deltarune
Fine.
is number 3. And then Persona was number 4 for me.
Yeah.
So what's your 5th game?
The only game on this list that's not an RPG. Chicory.
Oh, Chicory. I played I played Chicory.
Only because I actually own this game,
Yes.
as one should for a backlog, unless it's Persona 5. I just don't know how much it is going to click for me. It's about coloring. I'm not artistically inclined. I don't know if that's a requirement.
No.
Oh.
I actually thought the game was going to be more about the coloring and the art.
Oh.
Because that's what clicked with me, because I
Yeah.
like that kind of stuff. But it's kind of platforming, and I didn't really like it.
Did you finish it?
No, I didn't really like it.
Oh no.
Yeah. No, I didn't. I won't say I didn't like it. It didn't.
Should I take it off of my
It didn't
list?
click with me. What do you mean? Well, you might like it.
A lot of people are screaming into their phones right now as they watch it. No! Chicory!
It was so cute. The little dog and the little paintbrush.
Well, I wouldn't know because I haven't played it.
It's very cute.
Okay.
I think you should try it. I mean, if you already own it.
Yeah.
I tried it for like.
After I play these 4 extremely long role-playing games. I'm never
I tried it for like an hour or something, and I was like, I don't really get it.
No, but see, I'm sure. I mean,
That was my problem.
I'm sure it's shorter than those 4 other games.
Yeah.
So my mind could play a trick on me that's like, well, you can actually get through that, so you should play that first. You should bump that to the top.
That's
of the
what I was
list.
going to. I can put Deltarune first, and you can play Chicory.
I mean, you could play Deltarune in a weekend.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now that you're done with, well, I don't want to spoil the.
Okay.
You're done with something.
I am
You got
done.
some time.
I have some
You're
time.
back on the market.
I'm back
on the market for
Yes,
games.
I'm available.
All right. So
My
your
last one,
5 is what?
Rune Factory.
Oh.
Everyone keeps telling
I would
me
love to play it. I would love to
Rune
play a Rune
Factory. I'm
Factory.
like, okay.
Oh, I didn't even think about
But
that.
like, when do I have time to play Rune Factory? When? Tell me, people. When?
Yeah.
You know? But it does look good.
It does look cool.
And again,
yeah.
it looks like something I would really like.
I think so.
Dang it!
Yeah.
What are we gonna do now?
Yeah.
It's gonna be
Yeah,
tough.
that's not even on my list, but I am interested in it.
See?
So I don't know.
See. Oh boy.
I had 3 honorable mentions.
You did?
Yes.
Okay, hit me.
Spiritfarer
Oh, it's so good.
for emotional reasons. I might. Did you burst into tears again? Emotional reasons. I may not be super motivated.
You might not.
So
have
what?
Sort of any emotional.
Number 2.
You might not have it.
Disco Elysium is a game that I own. I'm confused
Oh,
about what
yeah.
exactly this is. I think is my blocker on this.
I'm also very interested in that, but I also
I've heard
don't
it's a very
understand what
like
it is.
talky, chatty,
Yes.
story-heavy game.
Yes.
So it's like I just need to be in the right mindset to
Okay.
experience something dense that is maybe not what I expected.
Okay.
And then the last one is Lost Judgment. Obviously, we love the Yakuza games. This is by the Yakuza team.
Right.
You should play that at some point, eventually,
good.
maybe.
These are good.
Yeah. Did you have any runners-up?
No.
No.
I barely had.
5's enough.
I can't even. Now I got discouraged.
I know.
Making the list
It is kind of
because
like.
I was like, oh man, I have I have things to do.
Well, in this
games to play.
In this alternate reality where no new games were coming out.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be a real lifesaver, this backlog.
That's true. I guess like I am a little bit, I'm not as like deep in a lot of games right now.
Well,
so
you were.
I was, but then now I'm free and clear. So I just need to make a decision. I think I'm gonna play Xenoblade as the next big one.
Yeah.
And not get too far down the rabbit hole.
So you're gonna dabble for the next.
Yes, that means I should play
a
game like Deltarune and like I also have a surprise add to the games that we're playing list.
Oh, wonderful.
Which is in the category of a smaller dabble.
You can't withhold things from this list. We have a shared Google document where we put the things that we're going to talk about.
I forgot until
that's a malicious act.
What?
You withhold so that you can be like, surprise, jerk. Listen to this. And
Why would it be jerk?
And you have this secret talking point or secret thing that I'm blindsided by.
It's gonna make you look like a fool. Like
yeah, I can't have that. Oh my gosh.
Really?
This carefully manicured persona that I've put out there for decades.
Throwing you for like
my whole life.
a tizzy.
My whole life.
You're going like
just ripped to shreds.
Oh, that is
because you put a game on there that I didn't know. Well, this is our transition to what we've been playing. So spit it out. What is it?
Okay, it's Elec Head.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I almost beat the game.
Oh my gosh, really?
Yes.
Whoa.
I think so. It was only.
When did you start playing?
On
recently?
Saturday.
Oh wow.
It's not very long.
So this was mentioned in our Discord, the Kit and Krysta Discord.
That's why I was like reminded.
And I was like, this came out?
Yes. And it's only $9.99.
Great.
So it's not expensive. It's a very easy to like get into game.
Yeah.
You know, we kind of had, I think a lot of us had a good reaction to it during the indie showcase. But it's like you play as this little robot, and it's puzzle-based platforming.
Yeah.
And you basically can take off your battery head. Sounds weird, but cute. And you can like throw it.
Right.
And throw it up and, away from you so it can activate different things in the level to like allow you to jump over things or open doors or whatever.
Yeah.
There's some collectibles that you can get, but it's like super straightforward. Like not a lot of like, you just literally, the game like starts and you just like start going and that's it.
What are the puzzles hard?
Yes.
Oh, but you're almost done.
They're actually, some of them are pretty challenging.
Yeah.
I had to look one up because I was like, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand this at all. And they definitely ramp up in difficulty. I'm in sort of the later part of the game now where they're throwing a lot at you. There's a lot of jumping, timing, there's a lot of things required to like execute what you need to do to get to the next part.
Yeah.
But the good thing about it is that there's a lot of save points.
Oh, that's nice.
So like even if you mess up like one area, you respawn so fast that it doesn't feel frustrating. Like you can just keep trying over and over again until you figure it out. So yeah.
Maybe
it's good.
Did you know that this game had come out a while back?
No. I totally
so weird
missed it.
that
I guess it's a mobile too. There's a mobile version of this game.
Like it was so prominent in the indie showcase.
Yeah, and then it just disappeared, and then it just came out.
It's like stealth released.
Yeah, not Shadow Drop, but like stealth.
What in the world? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, now we know.
It's really cute, really fun, and like very easy to get through. So like get into and get into it. So yeah.
All right.
There you go. Your life is now back in order, or what? Now that I told you my big secret.
Okay. It wasn't as earth shattering as I thought it.
What did you think it was going to be?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
I sold all my consoles, and I'm only playing mobile games now.
Well, so I walked through the door today, and you do this a lot. You really just start coming at me as I walk through the door.
What do you mean?
So
I wasn't.
We're doing this fun little thing on
YouTube
Shorts or like Instagram Reels, just like little short form things. So I have. I don't know if it's big. It's like I save a lot of games from my life.
From your life.
And now I just have them in boxes in a closet. And they're not really organized in any sort of clear way. And it's like, well, we're just going to go through these and see what's in there. Because I maybe look at those like once a year because there's like something I need and I pull it out. So I've got one of these boxes here. It says DS/GBA on it.
Yeah.
And you just let me have it. You're like, this isn't what I expected. This isn't what we discussed.
This is not what you sold to me when we were talking about this idea.
What did I do?
Mystery unboxings on YouTube Shorts.
But I don't know what's in there.
But it's not a sealed box, and it's.
Why does it matter if there's tape on it or not?
It's labeled.
So what?
You do know what's in there.
But I don't know what. Fine. Could I name any of the games in there? No, I don't know. Who cares if there's tape on it? Meanwhile, you take great pleasure in announcing that a thing that we need for a video. You're like, I threw that away. I don't have that anymore. I threw it away.
I purge a lot.
You love to tell me that.
You don't like hearing
that. It's like, guess what? Well, meanwhile, I've been holding on to it because I knew we would need it in the future.
Okay, order.
So what do you bring to the table? Nothing!
The sparkling personality.
Ow!
Anyways, moving on from this. Why are you so aggressive?
What?
It's not even warm in here. You're in the shorts.
You did this to me.
Everything is fine. Everything is wonderful. Look at this.
This is what happens when there's climate control.
We're so breezy.
I can get worked up otherwise.
We're breezy. Oh, the languid heat gets you.
I can't deal with this. Whatever. I don't care.
It's too hot to care.
Yeah, it's too hot to care.
All right, more games. Games.
Escape Academy. They should just do an apostrophe Scape Academy. That might have been cuter.
Aww.
Scape Academy.
Or otherwise known as Puzzle School. Just kidding. Sorry. So Escape Academy, we played together.
Right. So we finished the prologue and did the first. Well, there were actually two that we could have chosen from.
That's right.
I think we did. So the first one was probably 1 out of 5.
Yeah.
We did the 2 out of 5. I think the 1 out of 5 was the one that we did at Summer Game Fest.
Oh, you're right. Okay, that's probably why.
And
So
they gave you.
You do the prologue, and that is actually quite. It's not hard. And we
Some of it was kind of hard.
We did that in the allotted time.
You got hung up on something. Some people in the comments were not happy with you.
People were like, "You're so dumb."
I wasn't really paying attention to what you were doing because we were kind of like split up.
But I did figure it out eventually.
It didn't matter. It was fine.
I did it. It just took me a while. This is like a reading comprehension fail on my part.
I share the same thought as you, where it's like we barely. So they give you 30 minutes. We used about 45 minutes.
Yeah.
They're like, well, you need a bit more time, sure.
But why though? They should just not time it. That's my point. It's like they should just let you take as much time as you need to do it. Especially when you fail the time, they're like, do you need more time?
I wonder if there is like a true fail, like you have to start over, or
that doesn't seem like,
or you cannot progress. I don't think this game would do that to you. I don't think that
they would do that to you.
It seems pretty like
that's like really brutal.
Right. So I guess that is kind of an interesting choice.
Yeah, but the puzzles are like they get pretty big. Like the area we were in for the 2 out of 5 keys, sort of one of the main puzzles.
3 kind of big-ish rooms.
Each with their own set of puzzles that were all kind of interconnected as well, and items that you need to pick up to progress. So you do have a lot to keep track of. I used my pen and paper during that one.
I had a pen and paper. I ended up not using it.
I used it for those notes to take for how to open the symbols or whatever. But yeah, it definitely is like, and of course they don't give you a lot of guidance. Even the hints are pretty nebulous.
Yeah, I wouldn't say the hints like, oh, that's what you do.
Yeah, it's not like they're going to tell you exactly what to do.
Right.
My brain was pretty tired afterwards.
Yeah, I'm like, what is a 3-star? Like, what does a 5-star look like?
Oh my god!
I don't think I could do that.
I don't think I can do that either. That seems hard. Oh, and that puzzle that we did that was the 2 out of 5 stars. After we unlocked that first area, there was a whole other room, remember, that we had to keep going through.
With the statues?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was it was like 2 parts.
Yeah. And then the other thing is like playing it solo. It really helps to have 2 people kind of put your heads together and solve these puzzles.
And or just like visually.
Or just... Yeah, there are a lot of things where it's like, I'll put my camera on this thing and you refer to that as you do the puzzle.
Yeah. Or like, I'll look and you like press the button.
Yeah, it must be a substantially harder game solo.
Maybe you need the notes a lot more if you do it solo. How do you do it in 30 minutes by yourself? You must be some sort of mensa genius to do that.
My gosh.
That's incredible. Anyways, it's really fun. Probably going to keep playing it.
Yeah, this game continues to be really cool. It's just so unlike anything I've played.
Yeah.
And again, just such a like, aha, like, oh, this is a really good translation of a real world thing into a game. I was reading some of the interviews with some of the developers and they're like, we have a lot of experience with real escape rooms, but in this, like, we can introduce this element of danger that you just can't do in real life.
Like remember filling a room of water?
Yeah, like that. Like it's like, oh, you might drown in this Summer Game Fest level that we did. It's like, oh, this felt like really concerning that this water level is rising.
Yeah, I guess you can't do that to real people in a room. That would be
not recommended.
Not good from a legal perspective.
So I feel like you and I would need to get together to play it again. I don't really want to keep going solo.
I wouldn't want to play that by myself either.
But I could see us chipping away at this over time.
Yeah, exactly. It's really fun. I mean, it's easy just to do one puzzle, together.
Right.
And then, you can play whatever else you want to play.
Yeah,
exactly. Surprise!
This is the big news from you.
I beat Horizon Forbidden West.
Yay!
Yay! Just the main story. I didn't do any of the side things or...
Well, that's what counts as beating it.
Well, I don't know. Some people are like, you 100%ing. You didn't get that medal.
Nobody's 100%ing this.
There's so many people that are like, you didn't get the platinum medal.
Somebody said that?
Not to me, but I imagine
what's happening? You're making things up that somebody said? So people are mad at you. People are
Someone did say
assailing
to me that
you
they
with
were like,
platinums.
you didn't beat Elden Ring. I was like, yeah, I did. They did not believe me.
I'm the one who didn't.
Show me your platinum medal.
I'm the one
who
didn't.
Excuse
I
me?
didn't beat Elden Ring.
It's accusing me? I think that's accusing me? I'll show it to you. I'll show it to you right now. Just kidding. But I did beat Horizon finally. And I am just so glad that I went back. Like, I really... That idea, that hurdle of, like, going back was so much more... like difficult than the act of actually going back and playing the game. Yeah. Because, it's like, it's been months since I played it. I was like very distracted, as everyone knows, with Elden Ring. And then like, the first time I went back, it was like a little bit like, wait, what? What's going on? Like, what am I doing? Like, what are the buttons for this? But I was able to get back into it like pretty fast. And I was sort of like at the game's midpoint at that point anyway. Yeah. So it was like the story had been ramping up pretty fast toward the end, and so it definitely kept my attention. The story for this game just continues to be like one of the sort of the best like video game stories that I've ever experienced. Like for both the first game and this game, that it's just like how do you come up with this stuff? This is crazy, like the way it fits together with the different characters and this one just pushes those ideas in the first game even further. So you're just like totally enthralled. And of course the game leaves off open so you can imagine a third game. And I always felt good. Like I always felt like, as I progressed through the main storyline, I was like the right level. Like I felt powerful towards the end. Like it kind of felt like that Samus experience where like towards the end of a Metroid game, you're just like so like awesome and all your armor and your like weapons are so cool. And that progression felt really good. And, playing the last couple of big battles and stuff like that, you just felt like, I got this. Like Aloy's awesome. I could do this. And it was great. Like I really, really enjoyed it. And I'm so glad I went back and, I can't wait to. Well, I won't spoil.
Wait to what?
I don't know. I want to see what happens.
Platinum it?
I'm not gonna platinum it. I can't. I'm not that kind of person. No. I'm not a 100%
completionist.
I'm not a completionist.
Yeah, I still don't think I'm going to go back to this game.
Yeah, I kind of spoiled it for you because I needed someone to talk to.
I don't mind. I
didn't
never mind spoilers. That's one thing about me.
You told me that I could tell you.
I feel like the combat never totally clicked with me, and maybe because you had played the first Horizon, you were just more familiar with it going into it.
Yeah.
But I felt like I was having like pretty normal encounters that I was like struggling with. I was like, I don't think I'm doing something right here.
Well, it's a combination of like scanning your enemy, knowing their weak points.
Right. And then
so the slower combat than
But it seemed to require like a lot of like really precision arrow stuff that I was like, this is too precise for me to be able to do.
You get
without like a mouse and keyboard.
Oh, okay. So I feel like in the beginning it's a little bit like more challenging, but you do get a lot of like skill points that I basically dumped into my my hunter status that gives you like all these different things to help you like have precision aim and like homing and like so that does make it a little bit easier towards the end. But yeah, it is. I mean, the combat, you feel like it's like you feel like it should be maybe a little bit faster paced. You can just like run in there with your spear and just like go to town on these machines. But they do require you to be a little bit more strategic with the stealth and all that stuff. So yeah. I mean, I like that. I feel like it's kind of like more interesting. Yeah. But I can see that some people are like, I just want to go in and like beat them with my spear. Right, like, why can't I do that?
Speaking of that, Fire Emblem Warriors.
You're beating things with a sword.
That's what I'm doing.
I started playing the demo.
Oh?
Yeah.
What'd you think?
I actually really like it so far. It's really good.
It is.
Yeah, well, go ahead. You go.
Oh, well, I'm probably like 15-ish hours in now. This game is big. You know, I kind of looked up how long it is, and people are like, oh, this might be like 50 hours.
So oh my gosh, I mean, 50 hours?
These modern Warriors games are always very heavy on content, so I'm not super surprised. But again, it's like I'm definitely not beating this by the time these other games come out. So I'll just have to pick a spot to leave off and hopefully come back to it.
Yeah.
The story continues to be very interesting, and I'm on the Edelgard side, and you know, her whole thing is like, oh, I want to bring to the world something that kind of sounds like democracy, where she's like, oh, everybody will be equal, and we won't have to constantly have these wars.
Okay.
And it won't matter, you know, what your upbringing is, but like her methodology is like, I'm gonna bludgeon you into this.
Yeah, it's very questionable. It's a little Thanos.
Right. So it's like
good in concept, bad in practice.
Exactly. Yeah. So she continues to be a very interesting character for that reason.
Yeah.
I keep thinking like, I don't know what made me think this. I was like, this game would really like have blown my mind if this was like on the N64 or the GameCube or something. It's like, really didn't have games like this back then, where it's like, well, we're expanding on this game you already know and you like, but it's a little bit different.
Right.
And there's all these different systems, and
it's not like a straight sequel, but it does feel like the story. It's a story sequel, but a gameplay departure.
And there's a little bit of jank to it, but it's also got a lot of heart that kind of makes up for that.
Right. So you kind of give it like a little bit of a leeway.
Yeah. And now it's just like, oh, well, this is just one of like a half dozen games I'm trying to play in the summer.
I know.
Whereas like before, it's like, oh, I would have been
dedicated
so into this game for like 3 months straight.
Yeah. So I was surprised playing the demo. Just like they immediately introduced a lot of new characters.
Yeah.
And I'm not like. I feel like I'm going to keep going because you have told me that it's very much like a Three Houses successor. But the new characters are like interesting, but I'm like, but what's going on with these old characters? Like, I want to know.
Yeah.
Obviously, in the demo, you sort of have an encounter early on with some familiar character from a familiar character.
Yeah.
And it's that trope where you have to lose is like not.
We're going to be talking about that later. That's one of the questions.
Not my favorite.
Favorite and least favorite game tropes.
Oh, that's.
We're going to talk about that later.
I don't like that. That happened in that game, like immediately. And then I was like, oh man, not one of these again. Come on. I'm kind of curious to see like where the story goes. It's really interesting. I think if I were to keep going with this game, and I need to figure out how to do that if I'm going to play Xenoblade, I would pick. The Claude side.
Yeah.
Because I did a lot of Edelgard stuff, you know, and then I did play the Claude one afterwards, but I think for this one I'd be curious to see what that story looks like, the differences and stuff.
Yeah.
So I might do that, but again, it's like, if it's 50 hours, I'm not going to be able to get through it, so maybe, I don't know.
Maybe just finish the demo and save it.
I know.
Yeah.
I think that might
Don't get too deep into it.
That might be what I do.
Yeah.
My week of dabbling. Yeah. Other games? That's it, yeah?
No, that's all.
It's kind of a lot still.
Yeah.
You're preparing yourself.
It is.
For the eventual Xenoblade.
And then there's that other game, the reviews for that just came out today. It was that
Stray?
No, that's the one you're going to be playing
I want to play that game.
It's the one on Xbox that we saw in their kind of E3-ish presentation, that kind of like Heavy Rain style with the interesting...
At dusk.
As dusk falls.
As dusk falls.
I was like, it's not until dawn. It's the opposite of that.
It's a different time of day.
Yeah, the reviews for that look really good.
I know.
And I was excited for that from the get-go. So
that one doesn't look that long though.
I don't know. I don't know. It's too many games. What am I gonna do?
Maybe we should do a playthrough of that game. Oh, that game's single player though. Who cares?
It's fine.
It's still fun to watch.
Yeah, it's still get your your little jokes off. Yeah.
Maybe you'll cry because it's sad.
What are you so obsessed with the crying? Why is
I'm just saying.
in the cat game or this?
In this,
The
in the dusk
game.
The dusk game.
Oh.
It's very emotional.
You're much more likely to cry in the cat game.
No, the cat's
What's going to
gonna be
happen to
fine.
the cat?
A cat is like an alien cat.
Bad things happen to dogs, not cats, in these things, right?
That's true,
The cats
yeah.
always escape.
That's true.
Yeah.
The cats always are wily and smarter.
The dog is like
Too dopey.
too loyal. It's always because it's too loyal to the person who's not loyal enough to the dog, you see. The cat's like, I'm out of here, though.
See you later. This is where I don't think you would have an emotional reaction to Spiritfarer because you could say that with a straight face.
Oh. Anyhow, on to the news.
News.
All right.
All right, let's
Believe
talk
it or
about
not, this is a 100% Nintendo
News section?
News segment. Yes.
Well, there's a lot of Nintendo stuff to talk about that
Yes.
we have thoughts on. Many thoughts.
So, the summer of Nintendo news drops on Twitter is here.
yes.
Roughly, what was your tweet?
My tweet is roughly 1 month of content slow dropped on.
Who's to say it'll be just a month?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It could be until September 21st. I don't know.
We got some drops. We got this Kirby's Dream Buffet announcement.
Yes.
We got a release date for
For
Bayonetta.
Bayonetta.
Let's start with Kirby.
Yeah.
So this looks to be kind of like a multiplayer-ish. People are comparing it to Fall Guys.
Yeah, but it's not
kind of-
like a mass multiplayer.
It's right. I think
like
it was up to four people, and
Right.
then there's like AI Waddle Dees.
Yeah.
Feeling AI Waddle Dees. That's just a funny thing to say.
I like how it's just like Kirby eating cake and getting fat. Like that's a thing.
I'm curious about the food theme.
Well, the food is always good. Yeah, it always looks
Nintendo
delicious.
does a good job with food in games.
Especially desserts.
But remember that Mario Party one where you're cooking that cube of meat? Like this.
That cube of meat
wanna
looks
eat this
so
cube
good.
of meat.
Yeah, it looks like a perfect
It's like
wagyu.
sizzling away.
Yeah.
I'm getting hungry.
You want to eat the little?
I want to eat
your
that.
mouth
And then there was
watering.
the Mario Party, like the Princess Peach's birthday cake.
The
where
birthday
I was
cake,
like, this
yeah,
looks like
and
a
then
good
the
cake.
frosting
I don't even
looks-
like cake, and
And
this
that
looks good.
strawberry looks really good.
Yes.
And then they also have like some Mario Kart tracks where there's
Yes.
like the cookie, the sweet candy.
Somebody high up there is like, these foods need to look perfect.
Someone high up there is eating cake.
Yeah.
Who is it?
I had felt maybe after the last Kirby game, I was kind of hoping we would get past what had been happening with Kirby before, where there were all these little small games coming out on the
Yeah,
eShop.
yeah,
I felt like there were
exactly.
too many, and it was too hard to keep track. This does feel different enough,
Right.
where I think this could stand on its own. I mean, it's coming
Yeah.
out this summer, so we won't have to wait long to find out, but
Right.
I think this is okay.
Yeah, and I think the thing with Kirby, Kirby this year is that Forgotten Land really did like get people thinking about Kirby again. So it is good to keep the Kirby character strong,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
And that game came out in the beginning of the year, so it's been
Yeah,
a
but there's
little
few
while.
franchises
Yeah.
that have as many just like random one-off
Yeah, that's true.
eShop games
That's true.
that feel very
Yeah,
samey at
just kind
times.
of,
but this feels
Yeah.
different enough.
This feels small,
Yeah.
but like intentionally small.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's like a very focused thing. It's like you roll around this cake and that's
Yeah.
the game, you know? But it's like it's okay because your expectation is that you roll around on this cake and that's
Right,
the game.
right,
you know?
right.
So that's fine. Yeah, I'm sure it'll be like hopefully it will be a very like reasonably priced like kind of little thing that you can get. I'm
Yeah.
I'm very
Yeah.
I'm a stickler on these prices now.
You're cheap is what
I'm
you're
cheap.
saying.
We should again, the economy.
Just because you spent all your money on V-Bucks.
I spent my money on Mario Strikers.
You had a problem with V-Bucks for a while, which is
No,
interesting because you
it's
never
fine.
really got that into Fortnite. I'm like,
It's fine.
what are you doing with these V-Bucks?
like my outfits though.
The dances?
No,
The emotes?
I do like the emotes. I do like the dances. Okay, moving on. Bayonetta.
Yes, we also got a release date for Bayonetta 3, October 28th, which
is
is
exactly
kind
what
of
we
what we
predicted around
just,
Halloween.
Just saying.
Yeah, we had a thing where we predicted the Nintendo sort of release calendar. I think everything
Yeah.
is pretty much right on so far. So
Yes, and then there was also this kind of little side bit about this other mode.
Oh my God.
Naive Angel mode, which is a
Yes.
great name,
that's a great name.
but it kind of covers up some of the naughtier bits.
Whoa, not.
Um,
I love the there was like some line where it's like you can be comfortable playing this in the living room with your family watching in Naive Angel mode.
I'm really confused about the origins of this. Did somebody say like you need to have this, or was there somebody high up that was like, my wife walked in on me playing this and she laughed at me or she yelled at me? Like what
She
is the?
yelled at
I don't
me.
know. It's like this is because it didn't like completely change the game. Like there was still like.
Well, she's naked.
There was the
and then she's
demon,
not
and it was like, well, one half of the demon was covered, the other half definitely wasn't. It's like,
But
is this-
Bayonetta, though.
A, is this really an issue? And B, does this really fix the issue? I don't know.
What is this game rated?
And then this game's definitely rated M. I'm sure there's blood and everything else.
Then what's the
Does
point
anybody
of
care
that?
about? I don't know. I was like, what problem is this fixing?
Yeah.
Why does this
if it's
exist?
rated M. If I was thinking,
Yeah.
like, are they trying to get to another ESRB rating, rated T or something?
I do not
And then
know.
they can cover up the bits with, like,
And of
some
all
of those
games,
things?
why this one? This game was always just like, yeah, this is very
We're going-
unabashedly
yeah,
what we
this
are.
Is what it is. Like, very, like,
Yeah.
yeah.
She's sauntering around. Yeah, I don't know.
She's sauntering
Look.
around.
I don't saunter, okay?
Her hair is her weapon,
I don't
okay?
saunter. I don't sashay. I don't do any of these things.
Try.
I don't know how. What was the thing you asked me to do?
Brazilian
I
stuff?
still don't know what that is. Does she do that?
No.
Does she do that? No.
She's too, like, pretty to Brazilian stuff.
All right. So I made a list of
Yes.
where's my list of all of the.
Well, before we get to the list,
Yes,
like,
please.
what do you think about the Twitter drop versus the direct?
Yes.
I would like to know because I know there's two
Oh, yeah.
schools of thought on this, and like why do you think Nintendo is doing this? I mean, obviously we talked about sort of them getting kind of like I'm sure they got peeved with people's predictions, like a direct is coming this week or direct is
Yeah,
coming this week,
yeah.
so they want to keep the element of surprise high as much as possible to do the expectation management.
Right,
but like
right.
beyond that, like directs we know from working there are really hard to put together, so that's another could be another reason to do less of them. They have said in the past that like maybe we should do less, but I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we know that Nintendo is always aware of what the fans are saying, but they don't
Yeah.
necessarily care.
They don't.
So we've definitely seen people saying, "I want a direct. This is not giving me the same excitement."
Mm-hmm.
Or you see other people saying more pragmatically, "I just want a clear sense of everything that's coming,
Yeah.
and not have to do the work to be like, oh, this was
Keeping
announced,
track
or I
of
missed
it.
this other announcement. Now I need to piece it together." My hunch is that probably hints more to the 2023 schedule
Yeah.
and what might be happening with that and when they might be ready to make
Exactly.
announcements around
That's
that.
what I was thinking too, is like I feel like the delays for Breath of the Wild and like the sort of the question marks
Yeah.
around some of these other really big games
Right.
that may or may not have something to say about, like Metroid Prime
Right,
4, for
right.
example. And some of these other games that may be in development, or those ports that we've been talking about, like it might be that's driving the new direct schedule or whenever that next one might be.
Yeah, and they could have said, you know what, we've got these big games coming out this summer and this fall, and we're just going to emphasize those, and we'll get the smaller stuff out on Twitter as we need to, and I'm sure there'll be another big direct, I'm guessing, in that September-ish time frame.
Yeah.
So we know, I think it's safe to say there's going to be a Splatoon direct probably in August.
There's going to be some sort of Splatoon title direct in
and then
August.
after that, it's typically right around the start of September that those directs have been. Obviously, they're
Yeah.
not going to do it right before Splatoon, probably.
Right.
I think it'll be after Splatoon.
It's going to be after, yeah.
And that could be a real whopper if they start getting into the 2023 games.
Exactly, especially if they have updates in Breath of the Wild too.
Yeah,
and if they might release that title.
I still think a lot of the predictions we made in that video, the next Nintendo Direct, we never said when it was going to be.
That's true.
I still think a lot of those.
Revisit those.
I still think a lot of those are very valid.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Do you have a preference? Direct or no direct or this?
I do like Nintendo Directs. I
Yeah.
will say that I'm with the side of like it. I always like a big shared industry moment. Like
Yeah.
I've said this before.
Yeah.
Like I think like we deserve to have.
We deserve.
As much as like video games are like entertainment and like movies and stuff like that, we should like we like fans they really do like want to come together and like celebrate something. So like why not give that to them? Like I think it's like a good thing to have this like sort of collective excitement
Yeah.
and a place where you could just feel like you're connected to the community. I think doing it this way, it gets the point across, obviously, and the news across, but it feels like you're just not very connected to the community.
Yeah, that's where I think Nintendo has a counterintuitive approach to this,
they
where it's like
obviously don't care, so.
Nintendo Direct is not about celebration, it's about sharing information on games, and celebration is something the fans can do on their own, and we don't need to be the one making them do that.
They have said that to us literally, like in those words, many times, which I think is stupid. I really do think it's like a very strange way to, like, I don't know, to share stuff with your community. Yeah. Like, I just think it's strange.
At the same time, though, if there was a clear reason why they felt a summer direct wouldn't work.
If it was because of like holding on until games ready to be talked about.
Or having the degree of impact they wanted, then that's totally fine.
Absolutely.
And it's not like directs are over or anything. It's just a little bit of a longer wait.
Yeah, exactly.
Meanwhile, I can play this 58 game backlog.
Yeah.
While I wait for more games that I'll never play.
You can put your Bayonetta into naive angel mode because I don't know why.
Oh no.
Somebody might walk in and laugh at you.
I don't want to be laughed at.
Why would they laugh? Or I like how it's like they laughed at me and then they yelled at me.
And then they yelled at me. The laughter turned to anger quickly.
Why is it
That's not funny at all. Now I'm mad.
You're actually terrible.
You're a creep.
For playing this game and not naive. What is the opposite of knowledgeable devil mode?
Corrupted devil.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh wow. See.
I like that.
All right. The
more
list.
News.
The
list. The list.
All right. So this is an interesting conversation to have. Is the Nintendo kind of holiday release schedule fixed? Is it set? Is there going to be anything else?
Okay.
So I'm starting from September.
Okay. Splatoon.
September 9th, Splatoon 3.
Yes.
I'm including Mario plus Rabbids. I kind of consider that enough first party.
That's good. Yeah.
That's October 20th.
Okay.
The week later, October 28th.
Bayonetta.
Not Bayonetta, Bayonetta. There was somebody at Nintendo that called it Bayonetta, which is why we jokingly sometimes refer to it as that.
But I think it's cute when he said it like that.
Bayonetta. Bayonetta. And then we have Pokemon Scarlet Violet, November 18th, and that's it.
Yes.
So the question is there anything else that's going to come?
When is that hardware coming out for Splatoon?
That's probably
launch
right.
Day?
Probably, right around there.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, is there going to be another like Black Friday do something? Probably.
I mean, for the last couple of years,
the
the Black Friday deal has been pretty
Switch
much the
and
same.
Mario Kart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't think there would be anything
probably won't change
around that. And then Pokemon is out before Black Friday, so that's going to be the big game there.
Right. They usually don't like to have games in December unless it's a delay.
Now.
So the Advance Wars may never be coming out ever again.
I saw some people saying Advance Wars could be a shadow drop now, and that kind of gets them out of the entanglement of we are promoting this versus it just appeared. Buy it if you want, don't if you want.
Yeah,
I could see that happening. Speaking of shadow drops, now last week I had some words for quote insiders. There is somebody who has a pretty good. I don't know how they're getting their information, but they do tend to have good information around the industry, not just Nintendo. Mr. Jeff Grubb of now Giant Bomb. And he was very strongly talking about this Metroid Prime remake.
That's right. I saw that.
There is a pretty big gap here from Splatoon 3 to Mario plus Rabbids. I'm wondering now, we just talked about, might there be a big direct coming later in September? Could that be another shadow drop? Because you don't really need to promote. We remade Metroid Prime in HD. It's like
you can do
what
that.
else do you really need to say?
Yeah. You don't need to do that long pre-launch thing where you drip out the details of that.
Even the original Metroid Prime trilogy, I worked on that game, had an extremely short turnaround from when it was announced to when it came out.
That's true. I remember that. Yeah.
And from what he was saying, if this is real, that sounds like what this is, just a very, straightforward update of that game. You don't need to do a month-long campaign around that. It's just boom, it's out. And that's hugely impactful.
They might announce something about Metroid Prime 4 and then shadow drop this.
Exactly. I could see that happening.
The other thing that's making
As usual, we have no inside information.
Right.
I do trust, when Jeff Grubb speaks, I do listen carefully to that.
Yeah.
Call me Jeff Grubb, I want to talk to you. I admire him, I like him.
He's very nice. The other thing that, as I'm looking at the list of games, is like, besides Bayonetta, there...
Why did you say it like that?
Bayonetta?
I don't know.
What? Anyways,
Yes.
besides Bayonetta, there isn't like that many like games for more of like the
Family.
core
The core.
Nintendo. I was not thinking.
I was going the other way.
I think
like
there's plenty
of
for
like
family.
what's the Ring Fit kind of?
No.
What's the Labo equivalent?
No, we don't want that.
Well, you don't want it.
No, but I mean,
what's the
like,
Mario Party? There was always a Mario
there's
Party
the
coming
Kirby
out.
Dream.
That's this summer. I'm talking about from September on. Is there going to be? I don't think there is.
I think there's Splatoon
Yeah.
and there is the
So I think there's potentially some
and Pokemon.
some other shadow drop, or else this is it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I think it's the other way. That's why I think the Metroid rumor is
Oh.
a little bit more likely, because I feel like it's like that's the people that you might want to satisfy with like another game for them.
Who knows who Nintendo wants to satisfy at any given day?
Themselves. I do know that. It's themselves. Sitting up
funny.
there in that 7th floor, eating that cake, that delicious.
Eating that Peach's
eating
birthday
that
cake.
Perfect cake. I did good work today.
Sending notes to this poor Kirby developer. That whipped cream does not look right. The sheen on that is not immaculate.
Faxing it to them. I'm going to fax you the right
I'm going to
cake.
fax you these pages and pages of notes on your whipped cream.
You'll get it in 2024.
Poor developers.
They shed a single tear and it evaporates into thin air in that non-air conditioned Japan
my
heat.
gosh. All right.
Moving on to some really
What's
nice.
next here? We were jumping. Oh,
Yeah.
this was
really
surprising.
awesome.
This was surprising good news. Nintendo recognizes same-sex marriage in Japan. I'll give a bit of the background here. So they have this corporate social responsibility thing,
Yes.
which they publish from time to time. It's basically like, what is Nintendo doing to be a good corporate citizen
Yes.
in the world? And it's a lot of times of like, how are we promoting equality amongst our employees, or
Yeah.
how are we not using conflict minerals
the conflict minerals
in our hardware?
yes.
There's all sorts of things around that.
Yes.
So in Japan, Nintendo's acknowledged same-sex marriages as part of its employee partnership system, despite marriages between same-sex partners not being recognized under Japanese law. That was the bit that really stood out to me.
Yeah, like they're going against Japanese law to give the employees this this acknowledgement.
Yeah.
Which is it's really awesome.
And then I'll just read the line here that speaks a bit more about it. Although same-sex marriages are not currently recognized under Japanese law, the system ensures employees who are in a domestic partnership with a same-sex partner have the same benefits as employees in an opposite-sex marriage.
Awesome.
Surprisingly forward-thinking.
Yes.
I was
A little shocked.
I was very pleasantly shocked.
Yeah.
Not often am I pleasantly shocked.
Exactly. No, it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's really, again, Nintendo is a very conservative company.
Yeah.
So it is like one of those things
Yeah.
where it's like, oh,
And,
wow.
and I mean, just being very plain about it, like societally, Japan is not as ahead on these things
Right.
as the United States.
Right.
So, that's again like when we would speak to people in Japan about it, like they were very curious, like they weren't necessarily against it, but they just wanted to know more.
Yeah, it's more like a lack of not having the right information versus
Right.
it being like I'm against it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So and like this is not really like exactly related to this, but like for example, when we were talking to our localization team about Fire Emblem and like having same-sex relationships in that game, like they were always very open to all of that and wanting to learn more and stuff like that. So the company does have like that aspect, which I always appreciated.
Right. And at Nintendo, they did have this initiative. It was short DE&I for short. It was diversity, equality,
all
and
companies
inclusion.
have that, but okay.
Well, for people who don't know,
Okay.
we're not in the workforce, perhaps.
Sorry.
Not everybody's a decades-long veteran of the workforce like yourself.
Corporation?
Yes. That became a big focus in our later years, which is great. there was always, I always felt like there was something hanging over it. It was like, can we not take this far enough? Maybe because somebody in Japan is not on board, or somebody disagrees. I don't know.
But it's difficult because we were in different regions, and everybody has their own. Every region has their own sort of way of looking at those kinds of challenges.
Right.
Yeah, so it was always like it's education first.
Yeah, or it's like,
and then change second.
Yeah, or it's like, can we not be more public about some of these initiatives?
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, again, that's why I was so pleasantly shocked.
Yeah.
That this just popped up in the news one day.
I hope that means that there's more just openness around these DE&I like priorities.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Because it did feel like that. Like we had the committee, we were like part of it, and we would have these meetings about, what we were doing in these certain areas, but it always kind of felt like it was a little bit stunted, right? Yeah. So, anyways, but I hope that sounds like they're doing better there, which is good.
All right, last
Dynamo.
Whoa. A last Nintendo news story. Nintendo buys Dynamo Studios.
Oh, boy.
This was another little surprising one. So Dynamo Pictures is a Tokyo-based CG production studio that will be renamed Nintendo Pictures. They have worked on Monster Hunter World, Death Stranding. They apparently also did the Pikmin shorts that Mr. Miyamoto was very closely involved in a couple years ago. So what do you think about this?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty cool. Like, I definitely feel like with this Universal film and with all this discussion about, how does Nintendo go sort of beyond traditional video games into more like other types of entertainment, this makes sense for them.
So do you think they're going to be making movies, or what do you think their purpose is?
Well, I think that they want to find ways, and whether that's making like movies or even like upping the the quality of the cutscenes in upcoming games or something like that. Like I feel like they want to just make things feel like more accessible to people, because I think there are some aspects of traditional video games, and especially traditional Nintendo games, that could feel a little bit like dated sometimes, or maybe like if you didn't grow up with this franchise, and you would not really like understand. So by maybe having a studio like this, you can make it feel like more modern, more like like what people in 2022 would expect to see. From like less of a traditional video game company, more of like an entertainment company. That's I think that's maybe the path they're going down. And I think it's cool.
Yeah, I think it's easy to say like, oh well, they're just going to make more movies with the studio. I think it's probably going to be more games focused, especially since that's the what this company has been doing before.
Right.
And I mean, CG is probably very expensive to do, so I'm sure they had
bring that in-house.
I'm sure they had some formula that's like, we can outsource X number of these a year, or we can just buy this studio for this much money and not have to worry about that.
And Nintendo's favorite thing.
Oh?
Control. They love to be in control. Yeah. So I think buying them also means, or like whenever they acquire like a studio that's worked on a lot of Nintendo games, like Next Level, it's like, wow, Nintendo can trust them now.
Right.
They are not going to mess with the pixels. They're not going to do anything weird with the IP. So, I feel like that is a big green check mark when they consider these kinds of things. It's like now we can just like tell them what to do and they'll do it.
Yeah. So. I do wonder like what is they didn't really talk about how big this studio is. Like, what is the capacity of this studio? What can they what is their potential output? I do wonder about that.
Is it like 3 CG things a year, 5? Can they make a whole movie too, or
Right. I mean, there's just so much pressure, and I was reading that whole story about Marvel being under scrutiny for their use of CG,
I saw that.
And how they're just putting too much pressure on their CG studios. Like, this is obviously in huge demand right now. Everything needs CG, but like
that's like people's expectations.
What is their limit of what they can do? Which is why I'm like, I don't think this studio can probably just go from making a Pikmin short, which is 3 minutes, to making a movie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I also think that there might be additional pressure about like TV series and other things that that are part of that discussion as well.
So
we'll see what comes out of it, but that's exciting. It should be really cool.
Yeah, it's a nice pickup.
Yeah. All right, our all Nintendo news segment. Yeah, all good. Done?
Yeah, that's it. Wow. On to Patreon community questions.
Yay!
Got some good ones
My
as always.
favorite. All right.
You took a deep breath.
I was just reading the question. Do you want me to read the question from Brooke
Go ahead.
Skura, one of our favorite Patreon members? Do you think that more children would be interested in the arts if video game music was incorporated into their curriculum?
Stumped already?
I have no idea what the children want. But, I do have cousins that did go to, like, video game programming camp.
Yeah.
Which sounds cool. And, like, at the end of the summer, they have, like, made their own video game from start to finish. I think, like, I feel like anything you can do to feed someone's natural interest and curiosity is a good thing. And if it leads to them being more interested in other aspects of music or art or production, like, that would be good.
I think, it doesn't have to be just video games, but anything that you already have some interest in, you're going to want to go further on it. So it's like, well, if I was learning, piano and they said, well, you can choose to play this Mozart song you've never heard or like something from a Star Wars song. I was like, well, I'll choose the Star Wars because I like that. And I know that I have some,
some sort of affinity towards
some,
it.
Some existing connection to it.
Right.
Yeah, if it's video games, then yes. If it's something else that, people like, then yeah. And yeah, I mean, these are all, very, valid forms of expression and have artistic merit as well. And we can't just be like, oh, well, that stuff stopped being artistic hundreds of years ago.
Right.
And stuff that now is just junk. It's like, that's not the case.
That's not true.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. Courtney asks, a frequent question I see across the games community is, which series would you be most excited to hear is getting a new sequel or installment? Kit and Krysta, my question for you is somewhat of the opposite.
Oh.
Which video game series would you beg the developer to leave alone and stop developing installments for? Obviously, a lot of people are tired of full-price annualized installments in series that barely change anything. But I was wondering if there was a series you just felt needed a break for any other kind of reason. Smash Brothers!
Oh! Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I think Kirby used to be your other answer for this, too. But now maybe you're better.
Well, but that was such a strange case where it was just like these random spin-offs that just felt... I think the question is that like something a little bit different, but I did start to lose the plot of like, what are we doing with these random Kirby games?
Yeah. Smash Brothers is one that was high on my list, too.
That was the first thing I thought of,
Yeah, that one is a good one to just like... Stop, please.
Yeah, I mean, Mr. Sakurai has talked like, I don't know where else to
do
take this.
this?
I mean, you could always bring in more characters, but just from a game, like what else can you add to Smash Brothers beyond characters to make it, to justify a new game at this point?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm going to say something controversial, and it's Mario.
Okay.
Like platforming Mario. 2D platforming Mario.
What was the last 2D platforming Mario? You don't know.
New Super Mario Brothers something.
You don't know the answer.
Luigi plus
I turned that into Swiss cheese in no time.
Bowser plus Rabbit plus Luigi. Yeah, I would say like, let's think about the next 2D Mario and make sure it's not samey.
Well, maybe they've been thinking about it for 5 years since
Has
the
it been
last
5
one.
years? Okay, great. Then you can keep thinking.
So what I think the last one was, there's New Super Mario Brothers U, which got remade and put out. But
that's the remake.
There has not been a big 2D Mario game since. We have another question about 2D Mario later on.
Okay, all right.
Going back to Smash Brothers, it's like, is there a way to just carry on Smash Ultimate into next hardware generations?
Please.
In its same form. Melee people they're like, oh, well, we need, Melee to be re-released or, remade. But like any like minute change to that game, and they're like, well, I can't play this because you changed this minute thing and now my game doesn't work the way it used to.
Right.
But if you could just like literally, port it over and keep it feeling modern, that feels like the way to go, where you don't have to make a new Smash Brothers and grind poor Mr. Sakurai into dust.
Maybe get a break from it.
5 years at a time.
Use his genius for something else.
Do something else.
Yeah, it's like a prison of your own making,
Yeah.
It's almost like what we're talking about with Mario Kart is like, do we need a Mario Kart 9?
Yeah.
Maybe not. Maybe we can just
add
tracks and like keep it feeling, keep the graphics, high fidelity for the next generation of consoles,
this was not what Courtney was asking for, but I am really surprised that the model for sports games has not changed yet. It's like there's a new Madden coming out like any week now, and it's like the rosters are different based on what player changed teams. I'm sure there's some new feature that they felt they needed to introduce, but like this could either become a subscription that just becomes ongoing,
exactly,
or you could say like, well, every other year
they must sell though.
They do sell, but it's. I don't know.
That's it.
I think there's some negative repercussion. There has to be some negative repercussion to it that could be better. It just feels like for those games in particular, really ready for a rethink of how those are
or like Call
sold.
of Duty. That's another one.
Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Everybody has predicted though, like, oh, this is the last Call of Duty that's going to be big. It stays big. I don't know how.
It always stays big.
Again, I'm sure there's some negative repercussion for the developers who were asked to work on this and crank these out.
Who has the mental capacity to keep on keeping on for that many years?
I stopped caring a long time ago about Call of Duty.
They have not really. They just churn them out.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, you're on an airship for many hours. That's good, I guess.
All right, Captain Alex has a big question. There's a visual aid. Sorry for the people who are listening. We'll try and explain this.
Switch game box, Xbox One, and DS.
My question is, what's the deal with the size of Nintendo Switch game cases? Given that the cartridges are so small, why is their packaging so large?
Oh, it's like wasteful. Okay.
And let's be honest, wasteful. They're not a standardized size, which makes them awkward to find good displays or shelves for, or awkward to display next to standardized cases from Xbox, PlayStation, or even previous Nintendo games. I'm sure a lot of the packaging has to do with the psychology of the product on the shelves. It has to look beefier to warrant a $60 price tag and be taller than a 3DS case so that it signifies home console game. But it all just seems a bit silly. The games don't include booklets anymore, so we can't even use included reading material as an excuse. I think a better option would have been something even smaller, like the Xbox download code cases. Have you seen those? Mm-hmm. Those little cute little things.
They're so cute, yeah.
As silly as it sounds, it doesn't seem like Nintendo put a whole lot of thought into the packaging design. So my question is this: what do you know about the package design, and what are your thoughts on it?
That's a good question. Yeah, it is weird that a tiny little Switch cartridge is in such a huge case with a lot of emptiness.
I mean, it has. I feel like when you open a Switch case, it has those little hooks for a booklet. Yeah. So maybe they were like, we're not going to do instructions.
But if a third-party
but somebody
publisher might do a booklet, they can put it in there.
So we need to have something for that?
I think what Alex has stated in the sort of the middle of his question is exactly that. It's all about the psychology of product on shelves. Yeah. Like if you're going to have physical products, you need to display it in a way, and I have no background in retail, so I don't know if this is true or not, but I would imagine you would display it in a way where it's easily distinguishable between a Switch game, an Xbox game, a DS game.
It's true. There is no other system that has the form factor of that.
Yeah, so you
whereas a PS5 and a PS4 box
looks almost identical,
very similar.
Yeah. Yeah, and of course you have the colorway too. It's red usually. Yeah. And then the Xbox is green, so you kind of look for those kinds of visual tells. But I think that's what it is. If you're grandma, you need to be able to know what you're getting. So.
And now they have games where you buy a box that has a code inside, which is really
that's just silly. Yeah.
But yeah, there is a psychology to it where there's some amount of people who just want a physical thing, and they have needs to be met on that. Yeah. I don't mind the form factor on Switch. I hadn't really thought about it that way. I guess it's closest to PSP maybe, where it had that more vertical, big rectangular look.
More rectangular.
I'm always fascinated with packaging. And that's something, when there's a new generation, I always kind of look forward to in my weird little way. What's this going to look like?
The thing that was really cool, though, is the packaging differences between original Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Switch OLED. Because that box is so much smaller, remember? And when we first saw it, we were all like, oh my gosh, how cute.
How does it fit in there?
How did it do that? Because it's the same thing. And I do think Nintendo is thinking about the environment and all that stuff. Because that was one of the reasons they had mentioned about that tiny little box.
One other thing I was going to say is one thing we do know they're concerned about is the weight as well, because that's how much it costs to ship it.
Yep.
And how many you can ship at once based on the size.
Right, yeah.
So.
And then they also did that thing where like some of the, remember it was like a DS or maybe a 3DS that didn't include the chargers anymore?
Yeah.
So like there's like all these other like environmental packaging types of decisions that get made within the company.
Yeah. But as far as what else we know about the process of that, it's honestly very little.
Yeah.
That's something that was done by who, I don't even know
I don't even know who does that.
Long in advance.
Yeah, the design team.
Yeah, that's done super early on.
About that, yeah.
But I was always excited to see.
Yeah, exactly.
Frulio, have you two ever thought about starting a mentorship program?
Oh boy.
Many of us look up to you, and you have so much insight into the gaming industry and career development in general.
Well, for you Patreon members, we're always available.
I thought that's what this was.
I'm not giving my advice out for free.
Well, we include some life advice questions in here when they come through. We're glad to answer those.
Or if you want to talk to us privately, just message us.
We have had some conversations individually with some Patreon subscribers about this sort of thing. Yes, very glad to do it.
Yeah.
Gar has a question. In the near future, we will see the sequels to many hit games that came in the Switch's launch year, such as Splatoon 2, Xenoblade 2, Mario + Rabbids, and Breath of the Wild. However, one big game from the year that is missing is a sequel to Super Mario Odyssey. Do you think an Odyssey 2 will still see the light of day, or do you think that team has already moved on to a different style of 3D Mario in the future?
I hope that they've moved on.
I'm really down on Mario right now.
I just want them to make it fresh and new.
You love Mario Galaxy 2.
I like
made
Mario
by
Odyssey
the same team.
and Mario Galaxy.
So you don't have a leg to stand on.
I love anything that comes out of EAD Tokyo, but I want them to like continue to push it, you know?
Yeah. But you don't think they would in an Odyssey 2?
What else can you do?
That's for them to decide.
Okay.
They're the game developers. They're
Yeah,
going to dazzle you.
I hope that I get dazzled.
I continue to hold on, maybe stupidly, to this Donkey Kong rumor.
You think they're working on Donkey Kong?
Well, I don't know, but I just liked that rumor.
Okay.
And I was like, that would be really cool, actually.
That would be cool.
Like a big, like Mario
3D.
Odyssey level Donkey Kong game.
Yeah, that would be really
That sounds great.
Yeah.
I'd be down with that.
Forget Mario. Let's do Donkey Kong.
I really feel like Donkey Kong is one of the most like underutilized big gaming characters out there. Where it's like such good characters, such good history, so much you could do with that. With like whether it's
The same like clout as Mario, really.
yeah, again, whether it's the Donkey Kong country world where it's all the Kongs, or is it like Donkey Kong interacting with Mario? There's so much cool
I was
stuff
going to
you
say
could do.
that would be a direction that I like to see. More interaction between Donkey Kong and Mario. Because
They make Mario the villain.
They started their history together.
Yeah.
You know, and like you rarely see them together. Like there was like the minis that
Yeah, I didn't care for those. Yeah.
I didn't really care for those either. But yeah. The other thing is Galaxy. Everyone's always clamoring for the next Galaxy game.
Apparently you're not.
So, I mean, but
I'm
again,
very confused on your stance on this right now.
It has to be really
You've
different.
thoroughly confused me.
It has to be different.
Was
to be
Galaxy
different.
2 not different from Galaxy 1?
They had a Yoshi?
Answer the question, yes or no.
Well, yes.
You're confusing me more.
I'm saying that they did good with
So they
Galaxy
did.
1 and 2.
They did.
But then, like,
But
if you're
you
going to
don't
do
think-
Galaxy 3, then it has to be, like, that same level of, like, oh, wow, they really pushed this forward.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But I can't see that.
My stance is whatever they do, that team is good at that, of taking it further and introducing something new.
We shall see.
So I'm confident in
you're
that.
confident in that.
Maybe they just shut down the studio, be like, yeah, we're out of ideas. Krysta was right, we're done. Put the for sale sign on EAD
Gone
Tokyo.
fishing.
Yeah.
Gone fishing.
Mr. Koizumi's just
That
opening a
fax-
coffee
that
shop.
fax is coming through.
We done.
We done. See ya.
We thought about it, and we have no more ideas. Bye. All right. Just Camtro has the next question. Hi, Kit and Krista. Do you have any special memories around Nintendo NX and all the mock-ups that were made so many times prior to the reveal? Which one has been your favorite? Do you remember the famous Nintendo NX circle-shaped console with the touchscreen? What do you think of the design of that console? Well, I should say, even
past
right,
the launch
like
of...
days before we left, there were still people at Nintendo who would refer to Nintendo Switch as the NX system.
It's like, can you stop?
Please,
The game has the system
we're
is
not,
launched.
We're not doing this
It's
anymore.
like 6 years ago, and also we quit. Bye. Because of you. Just kidding. Because you kept calling it an NX. Yeah, I love it. I think it's always funny to see what the people, people that are just so excited for what new form factor could look like come up with.
Yeah.
I do remember the circle. The circle.
That was interesting.
That was very interesting.
I don't think I would want to play a game on that, though, to be quite honest.
I feel like I would drop it. Like, it would be very, like, slidey.
It's like, I don't want my fingers to be in the middle of the screen.
Yeah, it's like this. Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
I mean, if you just look at like, oh, that's futuristic, and then you think about it, like, this is terrible.
Yeah. I think it was hard for us to, like, pick out a favorite one because we already knew what
We
it looked
knew
like.
what it was, yeah.
So we were just like, these are silly. Like, come on, people.
Yeah.
And, now you look at, like, Switch Pro form factors that exist out there, and you're just like, well, I mean, I guess it could go this way, but it's just so hard to say. Yeah.
I did enjoy, like, for some of those where there was debates of, like, is this real, is this not real, is this a leak? People were, like, doing Google Maps on, like, the reflection of a tree in a window. Of like, I found
this. That's it. The same tree is in,
this is the tree that's in
Tokyo.
Redmond, Washington, next to Nintendo software technology, blah, blah, blah. This is definitely people.
Oh, here we go. Yeah.
People.
Yeah, calm down. Slow your roll, people.
My naive angels, please.
Devious devils? No, that's not it.
All right, our next question. I don't think we've ever had one of these before. A dual-sided question from two different people. Link and Riven teaming up, tag team.
They wrote it like moments after each other.
What is your least favorite video game trope? And what is your favorite video game trope? Whoa!
Well, we already talked about our least favorite ones. The losing on purpose.
Yes, the encounter, typically in an RPG, but not always.
Sometimes in
where
retro games.
You are destined to lose. You cannot win, but you don't know that. So you get panicky. You spend all your valuable items trying to win this battle that you just can't. It goes to a cutscene. Ha ha ha!
You're not.
My
true
power has surpassed you.
And then you like are somehow just like that's how the beginning of your story.
That stinks.
Come on, it's just not a good way to start your adventure.
Yeah.
Because you feel like a loser, and you
right.
That sucks.
Some people have pointed out that in some games, like you can actually power through and win those.
You can.
And that's cool. I
like
guess.
Elden Ring.
Did you beat that?
No.
No.
No, I died like immediately. Are you kidding me?
That's cool.
The other one that I do not like is the crazy countdowns. Oh my god, you know me.
You get worried about
I get
those,
really nervous with countdowns.
Yeah.
Like, my hands get sweaty. I just don't think I'm never gonna make it. I'm not gonna. You know what my immediate like reaction is too when someone's like, you have 30 seconds to escape.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I'm not going to. I'm gonna sit here, okay?
What?
And the lava's coming. You know what? Too bad.
Oh no!
So if that happens to me in real life, you're gonna need to like
Yikes.
piggyback me out of there or something because I would just sit down and be like, no.
Oh.
It's too scary.
Oh no! I feel bad.
I'm never gonna make it.
Now I feel
These
bad.
little legs, no.
I've really gone through the gamut of emotions about you through this episode.
You mad?
First,
sad,
I was
happy, irritated.
I was
annoyed.
irritated that you were coming after me.
And
Then I was mad, and now I have sympathy. Yeah.
Okay. And understanding.
Well, we've still got time to go, so we'll see what happens.
Those are my two.
My favorite video game trope.
My favorite video game trope.
Are bosses a trope? Boss
Having
battles?
a boss
Having
battle?
a boss battle? Is that a trope?
Ooh, I know. This is a good one. Yes, I guess you can say that. To be more specific, I do like this feeling that you get in most video games as you approach a boss. Like you kind of like, you get a sense like some big battle is coming.
Yeah.
You've done the thing. And then they have given you a lot of items suspiciously.
Yeah.
How come there's a place right here for me to save and fill up my health? I do like having that like, sort of that like, ooh, this tingly feeling like, the boss fight is
Something's
coming.
happening.
And it's going to be
That's a good one, yeah.
I do like that a lot.
If the idea of bosses is interesting, and like, why do they even have the name boss? I don't know. They could have come up with a better name, but I feel
Nobody likes their boss. That's why.
I think those are generally
you want to defeat them.
those generally hold up pretty well to me. I think.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like that. I also like the other video game trope of map reveals. Oh, I love a good map reveal.
Oh, like when a part of the map gets...
Yeah.
I see.
And it's like foggy or something,
Yeah.
and then you're like, something's there, but what is it?
Elden Ring had a lot of those.
Oh, I love it. Horizon had great map reveals when you did like the tall necks, or Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild.
Right.
Oh, those are good. Yeah. Good question.
No fall damage is a good video game trope. I think.
Oh.
I don't need fall damage in my games. I don't need it to be that
too
realistic.
realistic.
I don't need that. Just let me jump as far as I want.
Okay.
All right. Marky Man 64. What are the differences / similarities between corporate America and corporate law? Are there any other markets which had their own quirks to corporate life?
Well, one region doesn't use faxes and one does. I'm kidding. But seriously, we did have a fax machine at the Nintendo of America office for many years, and I don't know why.
For unknown reasons.
Yes.
I think just like the whole approach to like work-life balance between all the three regions was very interesting to look at, where like starting with Japan, there's just like an expectation that like if you have one of these corporate jobs, you're basically
That's like your whole life.
doing that all the time, and there's like some obligatory social gathering afterwards, so you're basically like never at home.
You're just like locked into this life.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
But the thing with Japan is that they do have a lot of like, I mean, I think this is to combat the corporate life mentality in Japan, but they have a lot of like holidays.
Well, yeah, that's right. That's totally right. That the reason they have those is like there's
They're
still a
forcing them to, like, take
stigma
a
around
break.
taking time off.
Yeah,
so
they,
it's like
they force you
the
to.
government is making you take time off
The
because
golden
it's
week, because you're going to die
because
of like
it's a
mental
holiday.
stress. Yeah.
I mean, there's like a word in Japanese. I don't know what the word is, but it's like
Dying at your
over death from overwork.
Yeah, that they're the only
And-
culture in the whole world, I think, that have a specific word for that.
Yeah,
It's not great, guys.
It's not good.
Yeah, it's not
And
good.
it was kind of a tricky thing for us to.
Yeah.
I mean, we worked extremely hard, but
And
I
many
mean,
long hours.
I mean, we
at
could never
times.
match up with some people in Japan, no matter what, and you wouldn't
I
want
don't want to.
and you wouldn't want
I
to.
need to sleep at some point.
Yeah, we need to take a break, or we need to stop.
The other
or-
thing that I do think that's pretty interesting is this idea of like the quirks of like how your relationship is with your coworkers.
Oh yeah.
Like in the Nintendo of America office, I will say very honestly that those people that I worked with became like true friends, obviously, in this situation. But also like a lot of people that I worked with at Nintendo were not just like some person I sent an email to.
Yeah.
And would like, but I would like, we genuinely had like a friendship. Like, you know, we were part of each other's personal lives, and we wanted to be friends with each other. I don't get that sense in the other corporate cultures. Maybe, probably in Europe, they're they're okay, but in Japan, I think that it's very, you have a very like this line, you know.
Yeah.
I want to imagine that the one pair of people that have broken that is Mr. Miyamoto and Mr. Tezuka.
Oh, yes.
Because I think those two really are besties, because at least we would see them at lunch like every single day, hanging out and laughing together. So I think that there's exceptions to this, but like it definitely was a different like level of letting your coworkers into your personal life that probably was a Nintendo of America kind of thing, you know? Yeah.
And then contrasting, you know, what the Japanese government did to prevent overwork, Europe has other strict laws that
Bank
Europe.
holidays?
Well, they have holidays, but there's also like, oh, I can't, you know, work after a certain hour. I can't work on the weekends.
Oh, the German law.
Yeah, so like we would,
Yeah.
Nintendo's headquartered in Frankfurt.
Right.
So we would sometimes hear like, oh, well, you know, we need to get ready for this announcement Monday morning. Can you get this set up on Sunday night? And it was like, absolutely cannot due to German law.
Yeah, I love
It's
the
like,
German law.
hard to argue with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. We'll see you Monday then.
Guess we just got to deal with it
Bye.
then. Yeah.
Enjoy your law-abiding life.
Yeah. I mean, it was amazing. Like, you know, I'm sure in Japan and to a certain extent in America, it's like, oh gosh, like we couldn't imagine like getting, you know, spending less time on work because we just have to get this stuff done. And it's like, well, somehow Europe's getting stuff done.
Yeah.
And they're still
They're on like the 14th
taking
bank holiday
all these
for the month.
holidays, or there's like, well, I'm gone for August. I'm just on
Yeah.
vacation. It's like, well, that's
Yeah.
cool.
Or they have better like family leave.
Right. All that stuff.
Yeah, they're like, oh, we're gone for a year. So
It kind of, it gives you good perspective of like Why am I working so hard all the time?
Yeah, like there's got to be a way to do it without killing myself.
Yeah,
you know?
a lot of it is just like the prison of your own mind.
Oh, totally.
Like,
Don't do that.
There's no other way. There's just no other way.
You want mentorship advice? This is the advice. Don't do it. you totally have constructed this in your own head.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, this next one's long. You can read it.
Okay. It's from Murph.
Good old Murph.
Oh, Murph. Some RPGs, JRPGs in particular, are generally not super difficult to beat, but towards the end of the campaign have a steep, difficult curve or feature post-game or endgame content that's very difficult to beat. What are your thoughts on cheesing strategies? Oh, I love the cheesing strategies. I try to fight these battles to the best of my ability with the classes and abilities I cultivate through the games, but sometimes resort to cheesing to get through some and also find it as fun as well. As far as I'm concerned, if these strats can be built, they're all fair game. I also know some people who are adamantly against cheesing as a viable way to clear this type of content.
That was
I'm a cheesy girl.
That was a popular search term for us in YouTube when we were playing Elden Ring. How to cheese fill in the blank boss name.
Oh my gosh. My YouTube search history is still filled with those. And my YouTube algorithm is still a little bit
It's a mess.
Up. Now I think I want like cheese recipes though. It's like how to cheese mac and cheese. I'm with you. I think it's kind of unfair to do that actually.
To do what?
To like just have this like ridiculous difficulty
spike.
Oh
yeah, I hate that.
That's annoying. Like you should reward the player for like cultivating your skills. That's one thing I really liked about Horizon because I was like, I have cultivated this ability and I'm getting to the end and I feel awesome. Like that is a great feeling for a player.
That's one of the few things that will make me just stop a game cold. I'll just be like, well, I'm done.
Cold. Yeah.
I'm not going to do this.
Why did you stop playing?
Because I'm not going to grind for... I was on the last boss of... it was actually SteamWorld Quest.
Oh, yeah.
I just left on the last boss. I was like,
that's right.
I'm just going to watch this on YouTube.
I think I beat that one.
Yeah, you probably did.
Because I'm like...
You're hard-headed.
Or like Elden Ring.
Yeah, exactly.
Also.
It's like, I don't want to grind this for another X hours to beat this. I actually don't care that much.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm moving on with my life.
You're very good at like mentally checking out, which is good. But no, I think you should cheese all you want.
Yes.
You cheese away. You put extra cheese on that. Because why not? And that is a totally viable part because they put it into the game. It's possible. Yeah. So, yes.
All right, last questions from Paul Gale. I'm excited for this one. Ooh. Hi, Kit and Krista. How would you like Nintendo to handle the next 2D Mario game visually?
Make it different.
Here are some options. A type of modern polygon look that surpasses anything from the new series. Mm-hmm. Hand-drawn art reminiscent of Hollow Knight, full of animation. Mm-hmm. Nintendo's equivalent of HD 2D, bringing forth high-quality pixels as a kind of successor to the Super Mario World look, or something else. Any of these could be fantastic.
These are great ideas.
My favorite is probably a new pixelated approach. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I have a strong feeling about this.
Okay, why don't you go first then?
I would like the hand-drawn art to please look like the game manuals and boxes from the early Mario stuff. Oh. Please look like that, and please also do a Zelda game like that while you're at it.
That is very cool.
Please do that.
That would be very cool. You know, I have been playing a lot of Super Mario World right now.
You have.
And I still love that style. Like, there's got to be a way to not... I wouldn't want just a high-quality version of that, because I think that kind of stands on its own already. But there's something very charming about that art style, and also... Even like Mario's little movements, like when he goes into a castle, he like looks up and his big nose is like pointed to the sky, you know, or Yoshi gets really scared, and just like the way the movements are is very charming. Like I wonder if there's a way to capture that in like a modern way, because I do feel like some of the like the new Super Mario Brothers, that look is a little bit like can be a little generic.
Yeah, you notice neither of us chose that option.
Right.
No, thank you.
Yeah, it just feels kind of like.
Yeah.
A little devoid of personality.
Bland. Very bland.
A little devoid of personality, for sure. So, yeah, I think Mario games definitely can be, like, a little bit more charming. Like, Mario has a lot of personality, and so do the characters in that universe. It's like, sometimes it just feels like a little bit of a lazy copy and paste versus it, like, really bringing out the, kind of the characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, but good question. All right. That is the end of our wonderful questions from our Patreon community. And now we can move on to our One Up Club graduation ceremony.
Here we go. Get the music queued up.
Here we go. A. Ron Burgundy.
Aaron Hash.
Adam Edwards.
Jean Malari.
Ale Alejandro.
Alexandra Pratt.
Amaris.
Andre NYH.
Angela Bycroft.
Bagel.
Ben Eckhorn.
Bettina Tang.
Brad SF56.
Candace Roper.
Kat Laurie.
Christopher Lay.
Cozy Tar.
Captain Alex.
Daniel Valencia.
Dachshund.
Doodoo Face.
Douglas Chomix.
Ducatista.
Dino Punch.
Eigenverse.
Elite Peach.
Sparts 50.
Ezrato.
Furbound.
Gar.
Garrett Hallfish.
Handsome Warrior.
Ian Say.
Israel or Izzy.
Jay Rando.
Jackie Z.
Jason E.
JK99.
JBJ.
Jeff Yoakum.
Jeffrey Hernandez.
Jesse Hernandez.
Gilbert.
John Responte.
Jonathan Rowe.
Jordan Collette.
Jordan Hammerly.
Joshua Clements.
Juan.
Juji Fruit.
Just Camtro.
Kai Commercio.
Kawa2796.
Kevin.
Kevin Delane.
K Madman TV.
Kyle Kretzer.
Kyle LaBooth.
Kyler Nelson.
Lego My Froggo.
Link.
Lit.
Luca Mania.
Lucas Pico.
Luis.
Mal.
Mamu.
Marcelo.
Marky Man 64.
Maru Mayhem.
Matthew Rewald.
Megan.
Mega Z 23.
Michael Craven.
Michael J. File.
Michael Mazer.
Mike Chin.
Mikey.
Murph.
My Tran.
Nod Narb.
Omi Omai.
Panda Buns.
Parker Anderson.
Patreon user.
Paul Gale Network.
Piano Psychopath.
PS Wee.
Raver.
Rad State of Mind.
Rain Tech.
Ray Charon.
Ryuji Utsuho Aku.
RJ Kern.
Rob Osborne.
Rocks.
Roy Eshke.
Ryan Hayes 521.
Ryanetta.
Sam Nealand.
Scott LaRock.
Safazon.
Shinru.
Slowbro.
Schmiggles.
Spicy Munchkin.
Steel Citron.
Switching it up underscore.
The Don Rob.
The Shark Among Men.
Thomas Alvarez.
Troopage.
Tugs Puppy Bear.
Tyler Geis.
Ultimate Flapjack.
VGM Life.
Video Game Stupid.
Beautiful Dandy.
Virtual Bot.
Wicked Davy.
Will Ernst.
Zudifer.
Sen!
Whew, really got in the zone there for a minute.
We're getting better at this.
It's getting faster, I noticed. When I edit the episodes, sometimes I used to have to repeat the song, now I don't.
That's the thing too. I
Yeah.
don't have to repeat the song either. We should
Some-
know what the song length is and try to do it in that length. Exactly.
And
and even when more people get added, we should try to do it in that
like
length.
Micro Machine's voice?
All right. That is a show, everyone. Don't forget to follow us on our social media channels. We are Kit and Krysta on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and of course YouTube. Join our Patreon family if you haven't. We have lots of cool benefits for our members. It's patreon.com/Kit and Krysta, and you guys are keeping this show going. So thank you so much for your support. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment, tell us what you think of the show right here on YouTube. What else?
Thank you, Slick Deals, for sponsoring our
Yes.
episode. Please
Thank you
use
so
the
much.
links below to get the plug-in in the app.
Yes, yes. Save your money, people, in this economy.
Is that
Save
it?
your pennies.
Pennies.
Pennies. All right. I think that's it.
Good.
We are not dying of heat.
Yes.
We're not a
I live.
We're not a sweaty mess, so we'll call it a win. See you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.